at the distance between the curb line and the water line, there is in fact erosion. That distance will keep shrinking over the years. And even within regulations, there is an expected amount of shrinking. However, over the years, and you'll see this in the table that we submitted on the report, that for Pond 1, for example, we did measurements at 3 different locations. Same thing for Pond 2. And if you look at the distance for each one between the curb and the water line, it's going down, which means there's very little erosion if there's anything. And that could have to do also with the water level. Maybe over the years it dropped a little, but certainly there's no evidence that there's like a whole bank that is encroaching into the home. However, there is one location where there is an outfall into the pond, or an MES section, which is a concrete section where the water is coming from the street, and that location is too close to the pond bank. Typically, that would be constructed further into the pond, and because it's too close to the bank where the water is coming, it's causing a tower around that. So that would be one spot where we would recommend some work to be done. However, that's not a pond bank issue. This is a structure issue that needs to be pushed further into the pond. The complication with that is that structure is a county structure. They're the ones that handle that structure. Whether they would agree to doing that or not, we don't know if they would. But however, from a pond bank perspective, we looked at both ponds. If you want to review the details, they're in there. We have photographs, 2005 photographs, and the 2023 photographs. All measured. We don't believe anything needs to be done at this point.
And what's the process to get the county involved in looking at that structure?
So we can notify them. Let them know that this is what we're saying. Whether they would agree with our assessment or not, they may or may not do. Because the structural design is not causing any structural issues or street. It's basically just the bank around it that is eroding. So if you want to communicate with the county, you could just let us know. Because otherwise, we don't have any further action at this time.
I agree with that. The rest of it. I think we should.
Yeah, because if it's something that is, future damage or erosion, it's better just to tackle it now with the county and see what they say. Do we need a motion for that?
No.
Well, yeah, because it would be an expenditure of fine, so probably to get majority.
I'll make the motion to have the engineer look into having the county repair the structure element of concern at the ponds.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All opposed?
All opposed?
Sorry.
The next item on the agenda.
Looking forward, is there a schedule we should be putting in place to monitor this towards the future, or is it something that we just gotta generally keep an eye on like we've been doing?
So we complete a yearly inspection report. That's something that's part of the requirement for the bond. And when we do that, if we notice something, it will be evident during that time. So it's being looked at least once a year. I don't think it needs to be any more frequent than that. So the next item on the agenda is the exit lane repair. So this was a hot topic for a while because it was a safety issue. Last time we looked at a few quotes for repairing the pavement. So since then, there's been some updates. We actually popped the manhole open and we found that at the bottom of the manhole, there's a sample picture in there. There's a big fracture in the structure of the manhole that's causing a lot of soil to come in. So that was the primary cause. So we had to modify the scope, and we worked with more contractors to get additional dollars on the repairs. We were able they did is they filled the void that was behind the wall, manhole, sheet, and then they any questions?
Any warranty on that work?
So all work typically have like a 1-year warranty, but usually they're not going to cover like if a depression develops again, because unless we can for sure prove that it has to do with an issue with the work.
And these injections, how long should they last?
These injections related to this is hard materials that's just like soil. If they truly filled the whole void, which is very hard to verify. Quantity of material that they injected, which is something that we have for, then it should definitely work from that reason.
I can add to that, I drafted the agreement for the obviously for that work, and we put in our standard indemnification clause, so any loss or damages that the district incurs as a result of their work, the CBD has contractual rights to go back to the contractor and be indemnified for that damage.
The next item on the agenda is a quick update, monitoring, very high level of work on Simpson Road. There was a question, between last meeting, whether they're gonna do any modifications to the gate, to the entrance, or to the roadway, or to the structure. We reached out to them, and they, whether or not they're stopping just short of the intersection, so we shouldn't expect any, modifications there. No other updates on this project. Item 4, the CCTV. We received all the CCTV from the contractor. We started preparing summary tables for the condition of the pipeline. We're working on doing evaluation. It will take some time because we have to watch all those videos. And then and we're hoping here that we will be able to identify the scope where we do a lot of trenchless work without having to dig the pipe, which after that will, based on the budget,
Now that we're talking on that, I know I saw some barriers and stuff in Marbella. It's like a sinkhole in there. Do you guys have done anything in there?
It's been there for years.
Yeah, been for years in there.
They found that little indent in Marbella between,
29.
it's closer to SMU.
Yeah, it has the barrier. Did you guys know about that, the Marbella? It's like a sinkhole in there in Marbella. They have the barriers on it for over like a year.
I don't know if it's really a sinkhole.
It's just like
The manhole went in. Yeah, the manhole went inside, and they have a barricade over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go look at it. I believe this was something that was by the CCTV company when they were exposing it with the machine in it, and they probably typically we recommend it for one option would be to bury it again, because I think it was lower than the ground. The other option is to bring it up to the surface, which is
I just want to make sure because still there, the barriers and stuff, so something is still not finished yet, so.
Or can I just clarify, do you just said it, do you think qualified as a CCTV company, or?
they had to dig it, they had to expose the manhole to get into it, part of their work. Whether they bury it, I mean, if we wanted it to come back and they're back in the hole, we can, but they wouldn't come to raise like the manhole. It's not like a damage, it's not when they expose it, it costs maybe like a safety issue, they don't want to like break the ankle or something. So that's why they put a barricade and left it exposed. So, we can call them, we'll call them and tell them to come and just bury it back.
Yeah, I think that's the quick and easy thing to do until, if we decide to do something different, at least we'll get rid of the barricade and the safety issue won't be there anymore.
It would probably go for, management staff or field
Yeah.
management to go out there and to assess the area and see if there needs to be any remedial action completed to avoid injury.
Now, I think that's been going on for a while, so if the dirt is probably washed away, then
Yeah, there's no dirt
we
there.
might have to bring, some dirt.
Peter, what's the address?
Sorry, what's the address?
Okay, okay.
So item 5, this is for the pavement resurfacing work. So there is a map in the report that basically shows, based on the core sampling that we did, the areas that require the 1-inch mill resurface, 2-inch mill resurface, or seal coating. There's also another map that I handed out. So what this map shows, basically shows if we were to break everything in the district, over 4 years, this is being after we do the 1-inch mill resurface seal coating. So this work here in this map that I handed out does not include the seal coating and the 1-inch, because we're assuming that would be complete now. Everything else is year 1, which being the next year, through year 4. And it's just based on high traffic areas. Now, based on the cost that we've seen, for this happening in 4 years, it would be about $300,000 a year, not $150,000 a year. Because the total cost to this work, would be about $1.3 million. So that's $300,000 a year for 4 years.
Wow. So the 600 and something was kind of like really off it.
And this is by the same contractor.
Because you're saying to put 1 inch pretty much in everything.
2-inch, actually, the majority is 2-inch.
Well, 2 inch, yeah.
So there's a contractor that given a price a while ago, and it was about $700,000. That same
What did
contractor.
you say the total estimate was, 1.3 or 1.4?
1.2.
1.2.
1.2 without the year 1 work. So for years 1 through 4 on this map is 1.2 million. For the seal coating and the existing work, we're staying within $150,000. We have been working with a contractor to get like a code dialed in and back, because we usually, our project, we work with one contractor to make sure we work out all the details, because there's a lot of back and forth and errors that happen. And we have like some records of what was going on with this contractor we've been working with. And once we have a scope, we will go out and get additional scopes. So we were hoping we'd be able to do all that before this meeting, but it did not happen. So we worked with one contractor. He did give us some numbers, but we found a few issues with it. They gave us some additional, like some updated quotes. We found some additional issues with that. So I don't think we're ready to make a recommendation. I think we keep working with some contractors and get some more numbers.
Okay, sounds good.
Is it possible that we can receive a copy of the scope that you're sending the contractors for us to look at when it's ready? I'm not saying right now, but when it's ready.
Yeah. That was the last item on my
Any question?
I don't have questions, but I have a request. I noticed light suppressions now outside of our gate area. And also where the pavers are, it looks like on the entry of the resident entry, there's a concrete and, well, it looks like it's caving in a bit. And I think if we're planning to make repairs to the gate and fix paver, that's gonna be an issue. So I don't know if you could assess it on the way out and see what needs to be done and see if we could try to figure out what it's gonna cost to fix that. So where's the entry gate here? Right there. It is. front of the entry gate, like the rear paper line of the entry gate. So now when you first come in, but the one after the papers, you see that, it's kind of like this. And then there's another depression, that's like maybe, I would say about 30 feet outside of the gate on the same side.
It's on that side, yeah. It's like, this is the resident entrance.
Okay.
And, yeah, so here is concrete and this is asphalt, so I don't know if that.
I mean, I'll look at it and see if there's,
So if you could just maybe assess the whole entry and exit and just see what needs to be done that doesn't involve just pavers, like any concrete or asphalt that needs to be done there. Is that fair? That's it.
Anyone?
Peter, in regards to the GR1 that you just mentioned about the $300,000, you say that you're gonna be looking for more proposals, more vendors?
for the year one, for the year zero work, I'm gonna call it year zero, because that's, yeah. So, we're trying to stay within $150,000 based on the direction we got last time, to do all the one inch millimeter surface. It's really 1 1/4 inch, but we should call it 1 1/4 inch millimeter surface area and steel coating.
So how much you say we need $150,000 for that?
That's the budget I believe we were working with. And also, actually, what we were, if that was the budget, we might be able to do some of the 2 inch millimeter surface in there too. So it would be all of the 1 1/4, all the steel coating, and some of the
2 inch.
the 2 inch.
So that will include the year one that you just mentioned here, which is the main road on Puerto Rosal.
Now, that would be year zero, which is not on this map, it's on the map in the report.
Okay, so which areas year zero we will include?
So year zero would be, like, Ontario Drive, Palm Lane, Via Drive, Lorenta Drive, that's all steel coating. Mina Real Drive, then Great Street, all that stuff is steel coating. And the 1 1/4 inch is, Riachuelo Lane.
Yeah, we're sure.
Okay, so remember Sangria belongs to the HOA.
Not the HOA side. You're talking about,
Yeah, Sangria is out, it's not. in
Oh,
the
the
map.
outside.
Yeah, it's not, yeah. It is marked.
yeah, not the part that is here.
Okay.
Did I say that out loud?
You mentioned
You
Sangria.
said Sangria, you didn't say how much.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so 150.
So you provided a figure plan with year zero. What if anything, how does that change if the board delays a year?
If they delay a year, I mean, just everything will get pushed a year.
But as far as damages, and we last time talked about trying to get some of these damages on for repairs done earlier or later, would it, advance any of the stages to the next stage of damage?
Slightly not, I mean, it's not a, slightly, not a whole lot. Because the areas that we're looking at doing is the 1 inch, those areas are 1 inch.
Hey guys, can you do that?
And let me, I also want to make a comment. The reason why we were starting with 1 inch millimeter steel coating, it's not based on worse conditions, it's clear, just the other area. This was like a financial decision.
But it's also to preserve the roads from deteriorating over time.
Exactly. So if the funds were available, we would want to support that. Here's my if all these funds are $150,000 a year, it would take about 10 years to find to finish the CDD, which is that's the life of a pavement. Yeah. So
But you have a 5-year plan here for the entire CUD, why would it take 10 years?
Yeah, he said it was.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. You said 300. I gave you a starting point, you gave me a finish point, maybe we can finish around. We have good numbers, though. Appreciate it.
Do you have a chance to look at the bonds as far as the option of securing additional funding?
The one with the email this morning, no, no. Okay, I can take a look.
Yeah, the board, if we're just saying, if the
something that I do wanna look into once I get the bond transcripts for the CDD is contacting your bond counsel and see if there's any refinance options to potentially save the district money, and then also address some of the big projects that need to be completed. So, hopefully by the next meeting, or if we send a special meeting or something like that, I'll have an update for you, but still read those, bond transcripts, the entirety of them, and then look into that option.
Peter, 1 through 10, how bad is, year 0?
From a condition perspective, it's not the worst condition again, because those are,
1 through 10, if you can, please.
can be any worse. I would say probably
4.
3 maybe.
Yeah, 3, 4.
That's not an engineering,
Not
but, I mean, well, it's informed, I guess.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so we're all set with the engineer?
Right? Good. Good. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Okay, so let's move forward. So we gotta, discuss the budget. I gotta move the budget a little down, to discuss it, since that budget's gonna take longer. And also, maybe we're gonna do some,
So I
yeah.
think just because of the new situation with the iPad and printing and whatnot, we have a letter that council just sent out, loaded on your iPad, so rather than go to the agenda, then load up a different package board, do you mind doing that now? And this will be loading up a separate document, one document back to the agenda for good. Does that work for you?
Sure, yeah, we can go there, or do you wanna talk about the gate first?
Yeah, we can do it. I was just trying to stop us from having to jump back and forth. So I guess Herman and Mark, do you guys want to do the gate first while we have this here?
Let's go ahead and just do the field operation stuff, and then we'll come back to the rest of the stuff. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Is that all right, guys?
Yeah, let's get that done.
I did also email you a last line of the early termination agreement as well, so it's not up on your iPad just yet, it's just your email will be on there too.
It'll be on the iPad. It's just a matter of having to, exit one.
Go to the proposal.
Okay.
It's realistically 30 seconds.
Okay.
Start the access control.
Yeah, we'll start
Correct.
with the proposals, yep.
All right, that is down on page 203, we're gonna start. Thanks, Peter. There are some bookmarks.
Yeah, do, yeah.
If you guys hit the 3 dots, you can jump to the bookmark.
Should we try to get around the termination of the gate?
Yeah.
Okay, so just to update the board, as you know, at the last board supervisors meeting, the early termination of the Invera agreement. Turns out that there were 2 effective, agreements with Invera, one for the gate surveillance and one for the pool surveillance. Okay, so during the attorney's report, I'll discuss with you about the pool contract with Invera, which is still ongoing because there's a liquidated damage clause. But we were able to terminate the gate surveillance agreement with Invera without a liquidated damage penalty by providing 30-day notice. There was some back and forth with their attorney, because notice was due by a specific date, not the end of the month, as I think was everyone's understanding at the board meeting. So that was good news. We were able to secure termination on the 27th of April without a penalty. As a result of that, there was a lot of correspondence saying, okay, received from public and board supervisors, out of concern from the residents that there's no longer a gate at the front entrance. And so there was direction to reach out to Osceola County Sheriff's Department in order to see about off-duty patrol officers coming out here. It was an item that was approved in the budget. But today I will be asking for your permission to proceed with having off-duty officers come into the CDD so that's not something we want to do. But I can say that there was, some feedback and some direction to pursue that, okay, out of concern for the safety of the residents in this interim time until the board makes a decision on the case. And there was also discussion, directing us to come up with a blurb to send to your district manager, to send to the HOA management company to distribute to residents so that they were aware that the board had in fact taken some action, to provide off-duty patrol services for the safety of the community. So I just wanted to make sure that residents were aware of that action that was taken by the board once we had confirmation that we could in fact terminate the agreement. I just wanted to preface our discussion about the gate, just letting residents know that the board had taken some action on it.
Thank you. So we got the first proposal, is complete access control, is the 22874.
So this is a proposal that I was asked by the board members at the last meeting to obtain, to keep us within a $44,000 budget. I think that's what they, said we had available for this project. This includes putting in new motors for the gates and have them operational, and a new system for access, but it does not include, repainting the gates, making them refurbished. It does not include, all four arms that are there, have them all four operational. It only includes two of them. So we kind of condense the work as much as possible to bring the number down. But at this number, we would still have a lot of work to do next year, and it would probably be more expensive. So that's that first bid. You want to check with the next one?
Correct. The next one is going to be the 23195.
Correct. This bid is basically doing everything we need to do at the gate, and because the original bid I got was including clubhouse access, putting everything under one system. But we, with the pushback on the budget, I understand. So I went ahead and got another bid that would include basically redoing the entire system, but only at the gate, doing nothing with the clubhouse, leaving what we have now. So this would include 4 brand new motors for the gate, refinishing all 4 gates, putting in 4 barriers, 2 on the exit, 2 on the entrance, and the new operating system, which is MyQ LiftMaster, and basically everything entailing, there's a lot of little technical things I don't want to get into, but like putting loops and things, all the sensors that are required. But this is basically doing the whole entire job with exception of pavers. And that total figure is $67,621 for that. We would still need to invest money on pavers at some point. Those are the 2 bids that I got, and I'm presenting.
Yeah, then we have another one, that's key access control. I was able to find the same scope of work. I just sent it to that company, and they came back with the same for the 4 engines, for the big gates, the 4 barriers, taking the big gates and fix them, level them, paint them, make them brand new, pretty much. Here we have the quotes, and also that same company, they do the removal and repair of the same pavers and also put in brand new ones. So we have on the same quote, and we are around $61,480 just to do the equipment at the gate. Adding the pavers is going to be around $68,000. And then putting brand new ones, obviously, is a little bit more. And then we have a quote with a company that does pavers. Where is it? It's with 2-year warranty, doing brand new pavers on the 4 locations, the 2 entry and the 2 exits, and leveling, putting everything how it's supposed to. It's going to be $12,600. If we're going to repair it, it's going to have a 1-year warranty, and it's going to cost $7,800.
What about the new? What if the pavers are new
No, if they new with Matao, it's, 12,600.
and the warranty is the same?
Correct. No, it's 2 years with brand new one, 1 year for the used ones, for the repair ones. And then on the cost of this type of system, both of them, they're gonna use the MyQ system, so it's gonna be more controlled by the residents. Anyone comes to the gate, you go to your house, you are the one answering. You are the one saying, yes, I'm at home, come in. For public access, that's something else. They have to call a number, and that number will give them access to the public roads. But for your house, you're not gonna have the same issue as before that, you are not at your house, then you're not. Then you told the person that is visiting you, I'm not home, come back later. But for public access, like I said, it's gonna have a different, method of calling.
Yeah, and the other thing is that with this system, I know it sounds expensive and it blows your mind that we're gonna put all this money into the gate, but the reality is that we were paying almost $9,000 a month for Envera service here for the last several years. That's close to $100,000, and the repairs were extra. There was a lot of money being put into the gate, and it wasn't really working. With this system, we're not gonna pay that much maintenance. Monthly maintenance is gonna be minimal. It's basically gonna be more related if people want licenses to their app in order to have more facilities to open with the app, but that's a choice. I'm thinking, and I mean, this is up to the board to decide, but I'm thinking that if the CDD provides one license per household, and then if people want additional licenses, they can pay for those themselves, then the cost of the CDD would be a lot less than we're paying now, probably even less than $2,000, $2,500 a month, rather than $10,000. And that includes preventive maintenance on the gate, which is something that has never been done here. So they will come out every 3 months, they will grease up, align the gates, make sure that they're working properly, shoot all the emergency stuff on there, and basically let us know if there's any repairs that we should be thinking about making ahead of time. So hopefully we can prevent the gate from breaking.
Yeah, and then I was reading that both companies are offering the same, service of preventive maintenance. The 3 months, they're gonna come and do the same thing. Kings obviously is offering, management of the database. So if we need them to upload any person, any information, any new homeowner, they have a form already, you fill it out, you send it to the email, or the management district send the email to them, they upload it to the system, and you're gonna have access to the gate. And the agreement is there as well, so you guys can read it. So we have any discussion on the gates?
I know you were saying that the public is still have access, but that's how we tend to look at it for the public. I know you say that you will have to call the homeowner, and the homeowner have to be able to say, no, I'm home, come back later, or what have you, but when you say public access, what does that mean?
Right, so I can give you a little bit of background on why these roads need to be public right now, they need to be open to the public, and that's because they were financed using, CDD tax exempt bonds. Okay, so those tax exempt bonds of CDD issues that are being paid after assessment by residents, there's requirements on the funds, if they were used to construct any infrastructure, that infrastructure needs to remain open, for the public to access it. So on those roads, until the funds are paid off, the roads need to remain, open to the public. And so, we call these types of gates soft gates usually, so they first we can have for the keeper, but we technically can't restrict, members of the public front entrance. They have to have at least one entrance into the CDD.
I think your question is more about the logistics of how you let them in, right?
But you are the one answering, so.
No, you're confusing him, because he's confused because he thinks the public's gonna be calling homeowners to open the gate.
No.
That's what I'm getting from, right? No. So for the public, there will be a decal on the device of what number they need to call, or there will be another directory, a number that we haven't figured out yet who's gonna do it, but there's companies out there that are like virtual guard type of services where they will call that person, they'll provide whatever information we want them to provide, and then that person will open the gate for the public access only. But for residents and stuff, they have to have their access.
So somebody's gonna come visit you because you are giving them your address and they come to visit you. So you're not gonna have anyone telling you public access to your.
Also, if you have a visitor, let's say, that's staying with you for a couple of weeks, and instead of you opening the gate every time they come in and out, you can create a QR code in the system and send it to their phone or even print it for them, and they can use that QR code to come in and out as long as you want them to until you put the expiration date on. So it has a lot of different features that can be utilized, and, we don't have to use all of them. We can pick which ones we want, but all these different features are available in the system. And, we've looked at least, I've looked at probably 3 different systems, and, this is probably the one that's highly recommended by most communities, and that it's more widely utilized in this area.
Yeah, on the last meeting, I think, when I wasn't here, I brought the Butterfly MX. It's kind of the system, but that's more technical, and that's like $20,000 a year, on fees. So this one is the least fees monthly, that we're gonna get. Yes.
All right, you just said that this third company, like the public comes in and they have to get another company to answer that phone? Or is this included in your monthly thing, $2,000? So it's another.
Well, the $2,000, just for the record, the $2,000 or $2,500 I mentioned is the guesstimate, okay? If you look at this bid, $2,000 are not in here, okay? All right? It's less than that, but we're guesstimating how many licenses people tend to request. We're guesstimating different things. So, yes, it'll be a third party. It wouldn't be us doing it. I mean, if we have a volunteer in the community that wants to do it, we could get a Google number and have them do it. But I don't think that's the right way to go.
Do we have a price on that monthly charge that this third company is going to charge?
Not yet, because we don't even know if we're going to get the system. So why would we quote that if we don't even know if we're going to get the system?
Find out, because they can charge you $5,000.
Charging for all the work they were doing there, and we're not going to get that many people coming through there requesting that access.
Yeah, like this one, we can find them different. Yeah, it's priced. I know for sure it's not going to be allowed. We have a lot of call centers because it's not a built for a person that we need. It's just a call center. So it's a call, and we're not going to have the same people coming into that visitor area because before everybody was coming in just because.
And it may be easier than that. I think we have to talk more about the technicalities with the vendor once we get this approved because, there's so many different things that you can do that. But I'm pretty sure that there's a way that you can program that where they can call that number, hit number 9 and the gate opens or something along those lines. You understand? We wouldn't need a virtual person. I was just thinking virtual person just because I think we would want to get some data, maybe get the person's name, where they're going, that kind of stuff. But we don't have to do it that way. Yes.
If we have this app, and I have, let's say, an air conditioning company coming into the service, and I will be able to send them a QR code dated for today and it ends today.
Yep. You can do that, or you can open the gate when they're there.
Okay.
Now, if you turn away this resident, then they can still access public access, correct, Grayson?
Well, if they wanted to.
When you can have an option for them.
Correct.
Yeah.
You can have an option.
But my.
We can't just tell someone to ask.
Well, if they come into my house, I say no.
Well, the homeowner cannot open to them if they don't know them, but they can call the public access number and get access if they want.
Right, so even if they call you and you say no, they can still call.
Correct.
Correct, yeah, they're gonna call it.
Yeah.
Sure, there's more questions, up to you whether or not you want to take public comment.
Let's move forward so the meetings are not taking long. Any more?
For discussion?
Kevin, how much money we got left?
$41,000 for the year.
So it's going to be 42,000.
When you are talking 41,000 for the year, where are you getting that number from?
That's for your contractors and your gatehouse greaser. That's the $88,000.
So that's the budget that they're left for this fiscal year, is what you're saying.
You have 88 to your security services for your gatehouse contract, and when you have 88, you use 47.
27?
The prorated rate until April 27th.
So, yeah,
So 36,685. That's how much we got left.
give or take.
Close to that amount.
So is there any other money that were reserved for repairs, maintenance?
So,
and-
So nothing specifically. You have the $183,000 that's every year for bike repairs that we utilize at the end of the fiscal year to supplement our active repair work. You do a $300,000 reserve as well, and whatever you have in unassigned cash. So it really.
How much we got in assigned cash?
Well, I'm pulling that up. This is what I was kind of explaining to you guys last time, that you need to get to the point of finding the prioritizing, right? That's all it is between the roads, the ponds, the gates, the roof, right? Where we're at the point, we can't do it all.
Correct.
We can do, half of it, comfortably, unless you want to use every dollar in the savings you have.
So is there any pipe work currently on the table that needs to be done before the end of the fiscal year?
That'd be a question for your engineer. He provided
I mean, he didn't present anything on pipes today, so I assume he doesn't have anything.
So he provided 3 years ago, 2 years ago, that it was a 5-year plan for $183,000. Now, he did the same thing similar to this, where he said, we handled the emergency ones. I don't know if Intech progressed, if it's gotten worse, if this is a hard timeline. I mean, being that we have 183, that is kind of up to your discretionary now. It's a hard line, right? The fact that it's discretionary and not a set number suggests to me that there's some over.
Right. Plus, if Embarra's gone now, and we don't have that $9,000 that we're spending every month, and our cost on the new system is going to be around $2,000, that's $7,000 a month that we're saving, that we can recover whatever extra we have to use today for this new system.
You're saving against the budgeted amount, so it's not a real saving. You'd still be over by however much you're actually over, right? The savings against that wouldn't apply. So if you end up spending $120,000, you're going to be 32 over, right? No matter if you're paying something less month over month at the end of this year, you're still at that high.
Correct. We're trying to say the reserves that we use, or whatever you want to call it. The problem here is we've got a lot of money, but it's all allocated to other things that are not really top-notch priorities today, is what I'm trying to say. And I'm thinking that the gate right now is a priority because everybody is concerned about security.
Well, that's why I asked Peter, what would this look like if you put it off here?
Yeah.
Because if you don't want to repay.
Furthermore, September of last year, I believe, or actually no, it was November of last year, the previous board of the CVB approved $95,000 service to remove Embarra and put another company with the same system that Embarra had. That was going to cost us another $6,000, $7,000 a month. That was approved. How come we don't have the money now for that? Where did that money go?
No, it didn't exist before.
So they approved it without existence. So
you have the option to bring it, right? I'm advising you that you are going to do that.
No, and I understand that, but I think the supervisor's comment here that brought to the table is basically he's trying to say we don't have the money. Yet he voted to approve a system that costs way more money than we're trying to approve, just to replace with another system of the same quality that we had before by a different vendor, which made no sense.
Well, and Mario, just, some fallacies, so to speak, right? If you're going to replace it middle of the year, you're already down that $40,000, or if you're breaking it beginning of the year, you haven't spent that money yet. So it wouldn't be a normal approach.
It was November. It would have been over budget anyway, because there wasn't a contract in January when we took over.
And then plus the, $30,000 they have to pay for equipment as well, because they missed that, For that reason, they didn't do it, because they approved only the service.
Yeah.
But anyway, my point is the fact that I think that the supervisors here today should consider making this investment in our community for security and for the sake of saving money in our security long term. even if it puts us over budget for this rest of this fiscal year. We can always reallocate the funds on the next fiscal year, on the new budget.
Yeah, and it's not my job, nor am I trying to convince you either.
No, it's not you, I'm just trying to make it clear that, not by you, but the other supervisor that brought this up, that we're kind of trying to break the bank here, and that's not necessarily true. We have money, it's just poorly allocated from the previous budget, and we need to fix it for the next coming fiscal year. So, any other questions?
So, if we have 685, close to 37, and this project costs 42,721, so we are $5,000 over. Where are we gonna get the $5,000 from?
For any allocated budget.
Yeah.
Anyone, yeah.
From your reserve, your $300,000.
And that is the problem. The reserve is for a reason.
Well, it's supposed to have 500,000.
Not for to fulfill a campaign promise.
Anyway, so yeah.
Okay.
Let's,
No more questions?
So, we have three proposals. So we have one for 44, where is it? 42,721 with 56 cents, and that's doing just the gates and no leveling, no sanding, no painting, no nothing, and then only two barriers. Then we have the other one that is a complete one without pavers. It's going to be 67,621, and that's including everything. Then we have the third one that has the same as the previous one, complete with everything, 4 barrier, 4 gates, for 61,480. And this one you can include the pavers as well. That is going to be total of 61,480 plus 5,575. 6855, that's only doing repairs of pavers. If you want to do new pavers, it's going to be the total of,
Bottom line, right?
yeah, I got an update, 885,550. It's going to be a total of 76,605. And that's including brand new pavers.
So then to compare apples to apples, we'll look at the papers included, is that right?
So I think we should concentrate on just the gate system for now, the favors for another motion. For now, I think we should consider the system. I think looking at access control and King's, what's it called, King's Access?
Yeah.
They're basically doing the same work. And the basic difference is that King's is including managing the database, which I think will take off a little bit of work off the management. They will also provide the maintenance for 1 year, is right? The preventive maintenance is already included in that bottom line for a year, which access control is not doing either of those things. So, when you look at that, and then the price point is actually almost $6,000 less than access control, I think, folks, I know it's a lot of money, like I said, and, doing, to me, I've always been a person that I'd rather do things right from the beginning and get it right than to just do kind of half the job and then have to invest more money. If we do the lower bid right now, just getting the gates operational and then try to get it pretty later, it's going to cost us a lot more money. So I think, I was elected on the basis that I was going to deliver a proper gate that this community will be proud to come home to every day. And I personally think that we should highly consider King's proposal on just doing the entire thing for $61,480. If anybody has any comments on that, let me know.
So I think I'm on the other end. I would rather the 42 and make sure the system works. This is something that's unprecedented, it's new. What if the app system doesn't work for the year, our residents don't pick up on it, and it becomes more of a hassle? I don't know, right?
When you say work, what do you mean by work?
Like for our residents, right? What if our residents don't pick up on it is something that is useful to them. One of our residents will look at thicker things, just, I didn't have to deal with it, the app, I have to open, or however you interact with it, in their idea, we'll call it, right, of how they interact with the gate, is better for our residents, but we just committed to, a system that.
Well, remember, my queue does not require that you use the app. That's another thing I think I mentioned. The current standards that we have could be migrated into the system and still be used, to mean that homeowners don't have to buy new stickers. Secondly, the transponder that brings the stickers breaks with it, we can just put kind of the same type of access we have for the clubhouse, where you can use your access card to the clubhouse and come in through the gate as well. So, there's different options that could be done. I personally think that if you put in the 42,000, if people don't like it, what are you going to do? You're going to rip it out and buy another one? Doesn't make any sense. And if we commit to it, we're committed to it. We have to make it work. And if other communities are using it around the entire country, it has to be a system, highly rated system. It has to work.
And also, the only difference that we're talking about here is the cleaning, the looks of the gate. Like, if we don't do it right now, the gate, a lot of people have been telling me this community, the front looks awful. Mm-hmm. Pretty much the people want to feel that they come into a community that they belong to, that, they're proud of. Right now, it looks bad.
So, how many times when the gate was operational that you guys been here has someone plowed into that gate and broke it?
Twice a week.
No,
and broke it? The gate? Not the barrier, the gate.
I don't have a number for that. I would have to check the price.
But was it really common?
Not the big gate.
The main reason why the gate stopped functioning is because they weren't aligned properly. They kept scraping the concrete and being forced to be open, and that blew out some of the motors. And that's why preventive maintenance is important. I think the gates will be much more effective than Vera has ever been. And the only thing more effective than this is going to be putting another guard at the gate like we used to have. But as we know that the cost of that is astronomical in this day and age. So, that's where I'm at. If anybody has any more questions or not, then let's go ahead and make a motion.
I would just like to state to the community, we have to realize that our community, a lot of us were sold the idea that this is a gated community. We are not a gated community. We are a community with a gate in the front. A gated community really means there is a barrier all the way around our community, and we don't have that. So when everyone says we're a gated community, we are a gated community. It's still not going to stop people, and we've seen it coming in from the backside of our community and entering our community. So it's also something that we have to realize as residents living here, that just because there's a barrier there, that doesn't stop someone from walking into our community, doesn't stop someone from coming in from the community next door. Will it deter people from coming in? Will it deter people from getting back at the gate? Yes, I believe it will, compared to those arms, right? We kind of got the idea that the arm was like, right? But I want to make sure that that's on the record and clear. We are not a gated community. We are a community with a gate at the front.
You're saying you're gonna fix the actual gate.
We're talking the big swings.
You don't want to break through the damage or not.
Correct.
Cool.
We're talking the big steel aluminum. Yeah.
Gabriel, who found this company? Okay.
So let's.
I would like to say as a resident, we can care less about the policy at this moment.
Yep.
Our concern is mainly the gate.
Correct.
Whether the old board works or it works, or the new board is working or not working, our main concern as a resident is literally to have the gate there.
Correct.
We understand we're not a complete gated community like you would explain, we're our main concern is, if we're paying for something, then we would like the systems to work. Whatever systems y'all have, it's okay. I work for a company that is completely, voted in, so I understand
Yeah.
politics and stuff, but sometimes you have to put things aside to get things done for the community.
Thank you. Just, one more so we can continue.
No, I just wanted to mention, you're not switching to the metal gates.
I'm sorry, I didn't get the question.
Switching to the metal gate and not pole.
Well, it's gonna be poles and metal gates.
It's gonna be both.
The place we live in the pole, right, they had metal gates. And people would just push it, very slow. It's still breaking. Just want to make you aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't come in their car, just push it, put it down, and I gate will not allow against that noise. We found this all the time, I think the gates are not why. And it takes 2 or 3 days to fix it, it's not, the motor.
We're using a local company, so the repairs should be a lot quicker.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
And please feel free to keep discussing, but you said you were considering making a motion.
Yes, I'm ready to make a motion if there's no more questions.
Why don't we take a motion in a second and continue discussion before we vote on it?
Okay.
So that's,
So I want to make a motion to go with King's Access Control, doing, the entire bid of $61,480 to revamp the entire gate, exit and entrance.
I got a question for the chairman before he made the motion.
hold on, we have,
Motion.
I second the motion.
we have a second now with discussion.
Okay, good. So if I got a family member that is 90 years old and he wants to get access to the community and he's not a cell phone or computer savvy, how he's gonna get it?
On the pad, you give them the code, whatever you code. You can give it a paper, if they call you from the keypad to your phone, you press 9,
You can call you on
get
the
in.
phone or you can let them in.
So is
And
that,
you can give it, if he's there at the gate, he can call you, say, I'm here, and you open with the app and the gate opens.
what about a vendor? How the vendor is gonna get it?
You give them the code as well.
So that person is gonna be spreading.
No, because you give them 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, or a one-time code. As soon as they use it, that's it. They cannot use it anymore.
Okay, good. All right. So just for the record, this is a $25,000 over budget, proposal. Go ahead.
So we have, now we would vote if there's no other discussion amongst the board.
So all in favor? Aye.
It's 4 yeses.
All opposed?
Doesn't make any sense. Where are they gonna get the money? From the $300,000 the previous board left?
It can be from there or from the
Emergency.
unassigned. Huh?
That's what was employed when water was.
Order. Yeah. No.
So they promised that when they come back, that's what they put in there.
We're done with the discussion.
Order.
I said,
Out of order. Let's keep going.
the issue that is passed is done. Let's move on.
Well,
So now the opponents are gonna control the meeting. Get our stuff
If you
together.
guys want to take, and Chris and Ashley, you guys want to take public comments, you do not have to.
No, that's why we should move on. Right,
No,
we should move on.
Yeah, we already.
You can talk to the supervisor, he can fill you in on what he was trying to say, but the issue's done.
He was talking about election stuff, so something extra. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not unrelated to the issue here. So let's move forward.
So favors.
So the papers. So we have the quote from, obviously, as you see when you come into the community, we have even areas that obviously have to be fixed, that we call the engineering, and also we need to put loops under for safety for the cars and to know when the cars are close to the gate and leaving the gate so they can close. So all that has to be done. And we have Matao pavers So as I said before, they doing repairs for $7,800, just using the same paper and repair the ones that they're broken. They're gonna replace them. And then we got the brand new one for $12,600. And from King's Access, they're doing it for 5,775 plus 14,325.
Herman, this is a quick question, the same area that you have the engineer looking at?
Yes.
So if it's found to be substantial work there, then we'll put this off, right? If not, review the papers and then need to.
No, correct. Whatever he found, if it's just a depression due to, I don't know, the sidewalk or whatever, then, you know.
I think we can approve this with contingency of the engineer's opinion.
Yeah.
If you want to.
I agree. That's why I asked the engineer to look at it, because I don't wanna do anything that's gonna just be damaged because there's something underlying there.
So we got those, two options, repair or brand new ones.
So I'll make the motion so that we can discuss it. I make the motion that we go with Macau pavers, for repair, because I think that it's not essential to spend the extra money, even though that the difference is not substantial. But I think that it will give us the look that we're looking for. So this includes also like, cleaning them, sealing them, all that stuff, right?
Yes, 78. Includes taking out the old ones, cross-country, pavers back and watch.
Yes, so that's the one, that's the one I'm making the motion on.
So, David, once again.
Anybody second it?
Yeah, I second the motion.
Dave?
Second from Herman?
Open for discussion.
I believe this came from Herman.
From Herman? Okay, so is that the same company that two board members for the HOA who's using their own house? That's the same company?
I don't know what they use for their own.
That's the same company that many homeowners have used for their house, not board members. I
Including
don't know
two
any
board members of
that-
the HOA?
What board members in the HOA have favors? I don't know who they.
Simons and Jose Luis Sanchez Garcia.
And what have to do with that? Just out of order, just let's pick anyone. Oh my God, this guy.
This is when corruption.
Oh my God.
Any,
I'll just chime in on that comment, so, board members probably are from your prior council, but if you have a financial interest in a vendor, let's say you work for that vendor, or you're part of the company, or if your spouse or family member does, then, you need to let myself know, and we have a form that you fill out, and then you recuse yourself from that vote, from voting on that item. So if you do have a financial interest in a company that submits a proposal or a proposal on the agenda, please do let us know so that we're following ethics laws.
And from my point of view, I will always avoid that because I don't want to give you that extra work. And I don't want to even make anything seem like it's even like that. So I have no financial interest in any of the companies that we're discussing today.
Okay.
so it's open for discussion. Anyone has any questions?
Oh, by the way, my motion was for this, proposal with the contingency that engineering approves that it's a go.
So I second again because,
Yeah, if there's no other discussion, it's not like there's any, that you can vote.
So this is the take them out,
correct.
put leveling sand,
Yeah,
you know,
flip
all
them.
square, put back together.
And flip them.
Put them back, repair any breaks, cracks, anything that may be damaged with them. This says wash, so they wash them, or they flip it.
Well, they gotta flip them and watch them because they have to watch the bottom, the dirt from the bottom.
Okay,
And
but
then
they're not gonna install them, because there's the right side and the wrong side of the paper. They're not gonna install them upside down.
I don't
I
know.
see flip, I see them doing like this and putting it back there.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it. I know they flip them. I think, but they put it the way that they supposed to. I'm not a paper guy. The company, they do.
Some pavers have, this bevel edge, which is right, wrong.
Gotcha, yeah.
And that's why I wanna make sure you're not just flipping them because it looks good, but they're actually installing them.
Corey, payment would be subject to a, inspection.
Right.
Correct.
Provide seal, so.
I'm just trying to get ahead of
Yeah.
the terminology is fine. And that includes the polymer sand, hopefully lock them in place and be good.
Yep.
And do they seal it after that, is that part of it, or is it just saving them and?
Yeah, just that. He mentioned, I asked for sealer, but he said on roads when vehicles pass, the sealer doesn't stay. Yeah. And that's wasting money. If we put it, it's gonna be wasting money.
And Corey, if you have a preference, or if any board of supervisors have a preference, we can try to write in your preference into the proposal. I'm also going to, I wanted to ask after the gate, but I would recommend that you motion to direct me to write out the form agreement that we spoke about, my firm prepared the form agreement, so it didn't take very long, but it has the termination clause in there, 30 days without cause. There's full indemnification, reimbursement for damage caused by a vendor. There's a requirement for them to obtain insurance, and the CDD is an additional insurance. And then there's also a provision in there that will only pay for the services after review and sign off by the CDD, to ensure that it's completed. So I would recommend that you direct me to enter into an agreement, draft agreement. We attach the proposals in your agenda, whichever one you select, as an exhibit to that agreement.
Okay.
And that's helpful if there is an issue with the vendor or with their work in the future.
Yeah. The only question I have on that, both of these vendors, I believe, require 50% deposit. Is that gonna be an issue with that, or?
We write that in.
Okay.
So if they have a specific term that they're requiring and the board approves it, then we'll write that in, but we'll put in there that the payment will be made after inspection by the CDD and sign off on the sufficiency of the work being completed.
So do we have to do a motion for that, for the
Let's
gate?
get through this motion first.
Yeah.
And then after all the other ones.
Yeah, you can say motion to direct
Gotcha.
the district council to prepare the agreement.
So add it now to the motion.
No, the application.
Okay. Thanks for letting me know. Vote.
So no more comments? Favors? No? So all in favors, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Can I just interject one more time?
Yes.
I just want to make sure that I understand I just want to make sure for the gate that we're up and running, and we have all the approvals necessary to make sure that it's up and running.
Yes.
So the proposal that was approved was just for,
The favors.
No, there's two separate ones. There's a gate one.
the gate, okay. So does that include operation, or do we need to have a separate motion, perhaps delegating authority to one of the board members?
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Okay, because these proposals don't include an operation factor, correct?
No.
Okay, but we can always hold a special meeting if,
No, I think that's a great idea. I think that would help speed things up, because, the gate has to go in like yesterday. So we really need to, get that fixed. So,
We're looking to amend the agreement or the motion to accept access control.
I would just say,
We're gonna have
we
to-
have an operation service for them, so if we want to delegate authority to an individual board member to enter into an agreement for an operator, the person going to be on the other side, or not, they have to, just so that we're able to get it up and running as quickly as possible. I think we probably need an additional motion regarding operation of the gate.
but that's not changing the pricing or anything like that, right? It's just to give them authorization to speak to the vendor and carry out the details that need to be done to get it to our expectation, right?
Does this proposal include operation of the gate?
What do you mean by operation?
So in Vera, you were paying them monthly, you were paying them.
Oh, okay, no.
$8,000.
That's a separate contract with MyQ, with the system that operates the gate. It's a different.
Yeah, that one,
Do
yeah.
we have authorization already for that?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do we want to?
So, yeah, we're gonna delegate that, okay.
So that agreement can be.
I'm still new to the terminology, so, but I don't understand what you're saying. Okay, so, are we done with this motion now?
Yes,
So,
yeah.
So we're just making two more motions on this issue.
So the motion for the legal counsel.
Okay. Let's make a motion for legal counsel to draft the forms for both of these contracts with the appropriate clauses as appropriate.
I second the motion.
Any other discussion on that? And that's just for the gate installation, the pavers, and will include the operation.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So do we have any cost separation, how much it will be monthly?
Or how about as necessary for the gate, up to
Yeah.
those three items?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the numbers there for the, Mike?
Like I said, for.
Do we have any, information on how much this operation will cost a month?
A month is minimal. I have it. I don't have it with me right now this minute. But it's very minimal in terms of operational costs, less than $1,000 a month, to be honest with you. The cost that drives the cost up is depending on how many licenses we choose to buy on the app, because the system includes 30 licenses. We need, if we're gonna provide each homeowner with a license, management, and, whoever else needs access, and I'm thinking we're gonna need about, 489 at least, if not probably 500 licenses, provided that everybody wants one, because it's also optional. People don't have to take the license if they don't want to. So if everybody wants a license, we're talking 500 licenses, and, 30 is already included, the other 470, we pay $1 a month for the licenses. So if you add that up, it's about $12 a year per person, per, license. So, the cost, this is where I came up with a 2,500 estimate, is including the operational, the licensing for the app, the preventive maintenance. When you put it all together, it's about that much. The maintenance is about 2,500 or
1,500
a year
a year.
for the maintenance, so.
3 times a
And
year.
I think for comparison purposes, it might help residents that in Sarah, we were paying approximately
$10,000,
$1,000
yes.
per
Month.
month for the operations or certificate. Now, what I've seen happen before, or at other CDs, is that there'll be a motion to delegate authority to a board member to enter into a service agreement like we had with Sarah, with my form agreement, because we don't want to get stuck in a liquidated damage situation like we had done with Sarah. But, so we would look for a motion to delegate authority to a board of supervisors to enter into a service agreement with a not to exceed number. Though you're discussing $2,500, it's approximating right now, but.
Well, no, because the 1,500 already included in this, so I would say 1,000, 1,500 should be more than enough per month.
Okay. I mean, if it's
Not to
not,
exceed
you could
1,500.
potentially do a special meeting to get up and running.
Correct, no, I don't think it'll be more than that.
But that's an option for you guys to consider.
All right, so I'll make the motion to, authorize, you want to do the point of contact?
Yeah, at the time.
So authorize our chairman, to engage in operational contractual agreement with the blessing of our council and with the appropriate forms, not to exceed an operational expense with MyQ of greater than 1,500 per month.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? 1 opposed.
Now we have to make a motion for, we already did the,
What did
I think actually finish, the motion to authorize me to draft the agreement for the construction of the gate and the paperwork.
okay. Yeah, so I'll also make a motion to allow, our council to do all the appropriate paperwork associated with all 3 of these agreements. Anybody?
I'll bring those agreements back to the board so you can get comfortable with the form of agreement that we use, but it's the same basis, the same form.
I second the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Gabriel, do you know how soon this company will be operating? No?
To be clear, Mayor, I'm not
that's what I keep asking, because I know that you are not in the loop. You don't know what is going on. It's just to remember.
Well,
Fine.
Yeah, it can happen.
It's all going to depend on how soon Intermark can get them the deposit and how long you can do the paperwork. So they said from the time they get the contract and their deposit, 3 weeks, they can have the system operating.
Well, and often,
Realistically, I would say between middle of June, you know.
so and often, you know, when it comes to the deposit, as long as the contract is signed and we tell them on the way where it gets started, so, you know, we might just save a little bit of time there.
So they said 3 to 4 weeks, so 4 weeks is kind of we're thinking sometime in June it should be up and operating.
Okay, so we have all the motions for the gate, favors. So let's, oh, okay. Yeah, so. So I'm gonna do a motion just to recertify, right, or?
Yeah, so maybe I'll motion to authorize the expenditure of the line item for security off-duty patrol officers to come out here and patrol the streets while in the interim time, until the gate is up and running. So I think that would be your,
That's what we,
3, 4, okay.
yeah.
The sheriff's department has hourly rates for off-duty officers, and so anyone is able to reserve that time. You just have to provide the days and times, and they range from $60 to $150 for a lieutenant to come out and patrol the streets. So it sounds like the chairman's asking for a motion to authorize off-duty patrol. That's up to you all, it's up to you how many days you just decide the number of days, how many hours per day, perhaps, or whatever you're comfortable with.
Anybody want to make a motion? No, I'll make it.
Yeah, well, yeah, go ahead.
Right. I'll make a motion to authorize sheriff patrol, random hours, between now and the time that the gate is back in operation.
And do you need a delegate?
Do anybody second?
No, we would just need a motion, and approval. I guess, Kate, do you want to talk about how it's incorporated in the budget, that line item?
That was.
Hey, guys, can you do that, please? So first, I would just ask that you need to specify there's some authority for someone to book this in case there needs a changing of shifts rather than just completely random, because we do need to submit something to them, even if it's a window, right? We can say, we want you here, you choose a window on this day for 12 hours, right? The second thing is, yeah, in your, what Kristen's referring to in your budget, there is a line item
7,500.
previously been used for our security at these meetings. We're using the officer posted in the back. Now it's $7,500. That, you know, at the time of creation, I'm not sure if this was part of it, but just to kind of clear it up and make sure that this isn't there. But there is a line item that is specifically for.
Also, all the church.
Yeah.
Have we used any of that line item yet?
Yeah, just a few $100. And then now.
This year was a lot, because when you guys came on, you guys started to stop requesting the officers. So, I'll tell you what that is, it's going to be fun to do.
We requested to stop bringing the officers to the meetings because there was no point in doing that.
Yeah,
Right, that's what.
When everybody stopped patrolling.
yeah. The patrol, I
Well, no, there was no formal, years and years ago there was, but it kind of just fell through.
But did they stop it, or was it something that just died because no one scheduled it?
We've had it multiple districts, it went empty because most of COVID, it went unfilled. And I know that they changed their system as well, they had a new coordinator come into place, that wasn't actually before, it was a different lady. So I don't know along the way what happened as far as the district and their system, but this is to kind of.
but like this, the CDD board never stopped the patrols.
They never made
was
a motion to stop them.
Because that's what I'm asking, because I was talking to council about it. I said, why we need to do a motion for something that it was already moving. But obviously, she advised that it's best to do it, so I gotta do it, but I'm just asking management why, we have to do a motion on something that is already been approved, being used in the past.
Can I find the actual purpose of the creation of that fund?
Yeah,
We'll
no problem. So, the motion.
Okay, so I'm gonna restate the motion then, given the different parameters. You gonna say something?
Yeah, I mean, so that we're sensitive to the fact that we don't have to close the exact date and time. It maybe, if the board wants to delegate authority
Yes.
to someone to work with district manager or district council to schedule these dates and times that they're choosing. It could be, 9 PM to 1 AM, for example, so that shift 3 times a week for 4 weeks until we get the gate service up or something like that. Just an idea.
Okay. You want the motion? I see you thinking. I don't wanna get in front of you.
No, I'll make a motion, to give, Chairman Perez the authority to dictate time and dates, for patrol using the funds allocated, up to 4 weeks or until the gate is installed, whatever comes first. That's it.
I second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Opposed, how many hours a week we're going to be using?
We don't
I
want,
think the chairman should delegate authority, court is delegated authority to the chairman to make that determination.
Okay, because we only have money for 100 hours for the rest of the year.
For how many?
100 hours.
100, okay. So, yeah, you would need to stay within the parameters of budget items.
that was the motion, that will stay within the budget.
That line was decreased from 14 to 75.
Correct.
In 2021. It also noted it was for as needed. I don't believe it was set for a recurring.
Correct. Yeah, it's being used always like that, as needed.
No, but I'm saying, it specifically says as needed. I don't think that there was, essentially what we're doing now is putting it on a weekly.
Correct, because it's as needed as we don't have.
But historically, there's never been motions made to schedule sheriffs here. It's always been randomly, it's when the sheriff wants to call the sheriff or tell you directly to set a sheriff up front, that that's what it would happen. There's never any consistency. And no, never brought this forward.
I'm saying, you guys asked me, what did it stop? It's that there was not a recurring thing that just stopped.
Correct.
So I just want that to be clear. It's not that it was failed, our part or their part, it still has to be paid.
Clarify this item right now.
So we got a report from, this is the proposal from the field manager about Skylight Roofing. They came to check the roof.
Are you skipping over it, or?
Which one?
The pool?
I'm sorry, I had it here, I was seeing it. Okay, yeah, we got the technical pool, that's the 1436. They came out and, right here, you're gonna see, they see the spot heater, they need to replace the rocker switch, they have to install a lid cover, and, that's the proposal that we have for those items, for the pool. They check the pool, the spot, they say everything looks working properly, but they need gas to test the heater. So that's another one that we need to approve maybe a little bit to get into the system so they can test it completely and make sure that the heater is working well on the spot.
Okay. Before we make a motion, I have a question for management. Do we know what happened to the spa? Like, why did it stop working, or when it stopped working, or?
That I don't know, I'll see if I can get a hold of Freddie.
We asked Freddie at the last meeting, he didn't know. He says it hasn't been working since you guys been here. Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, yeah.
Now, do we know how much gas has been budgeted for that thing, or if any budget for gas is available? Because it does run on gas.
We just have the two lines for the pool, one is the contract, and one is for the
So we don't know how much gas it requires to operate that hot tub.
Not to my knowledge,
Yeah. Do we know if there's a control on that determines how much heat it provides to the water at any given time? Is there a thermostat? Is there a cutoff switch? Is there anything? Because my understanding is that this has been filled with gas in the past. I've never seen it work since I've been here, but my understanding from other residents that it has worked, but supposedly this gas dissipates so fast that at some point the CDD board decided that we're not gonna fill it up because it's too expensive. So what I wanna know is that, we need to find that out, because we're gonna put money into this, and then if it's gonna cost us $2,000 in gas to run that thing, and we don't have that budget, then that's a concern. You know, but the residents are coming here and they're complaining that, what's a hot tub that's not hot? So, you know, I think, you know, it sounds like a good gesture to want to repair this. I mean, my suggestion is that we consider adding some gas so that they can do the proper troubleshooting. But I wouldn't go ahead and fill that tank up until we know what's wrong with the spot and how much it's gonna cost to operate, and we have.
That tank may need inspection too. You know,
It's
it's
both.
been forever since it's built, who knows the condition?
And that would be the gas company that tell us.
I know you guys are taking questions on this, but just specifically on that, for the inspections, it needs to be pressure tested first. So pressure tested with nitrogen, a rather simple test, but it's a drop test, that way they let it sit for a period of time, so that way they would know if they have leaks and how much it's leaking. So that's gonna give them the first part on that. The second part is on the burners. What is the consumption rate on the burners in order to heat that water? It might be more cost effective if the water's going into there in order to replace that system with an electric system. So, for long term, so that's two specific things to look at. You don't wanna fill it up with gas and see how much it's gonna burn. You wanna get somebody out here in order to do an assessment on it, a proper assessment, they pressure test it first. And then also, simultaneously, so you can work those in parallel, see what's gonna cost to replace it with an electric system. And what that's gonna cost for utilities for the electric, so that you have that comparison between gas and electric.
Thank you.
Thank you for your.
Thank you.
I think that's your expertise. Let me ask you a question though, since you know more about this than any of us here. How do these spas normally operate when they're gas? Like, do they heat up like kind of like your water heater at home, but as soon as the temperature falls below a certain thing, it kicks back in, heats it up, whether somebody's using it or not?
Yes.
Okay, so there's no way to put it.
So it's supposed to have a thermostat. The thermostat works off of it, plus you're gonna have the exhaust coming out of it, so it works off the exhaust.
But.
You've seen like a kerosene heater, it's similar to a kerosene heater. You got a thermostat, you can higher, lower. The problem with these though is the fact of if the thermostat fails, you're in burn somebody.
Got it. Thank you, appreciate it. So where are we with this?
Gabriel, who found that proposal?
There's our pool provider.
Yeah, that's a pool provider. Yeah, I talked to him and, you know, he mentioned it until he can figure out the gas he can, like he said, that equipment before. But I see here that
I think based on what we just heard from the resident with experience is that we probably should get a gas company to come out and verify this tank and see if we can put gas in it.
Yeah.
And then do another assessment on the spot to see all those factors that you mentioned. Correct.
So on this proposal, we have some things about installing the full leaf cover. We have a combination of locks so they can lock things.
Is this just a padlock they want to put on there?
Yeah.
For that much money?
For that much money?
They brought up. I know.
Hardware. Like, can we go out there right now and slap a lock on the thing?
Well, it probably doesn't have the latch that they
that's
need.
what I'm saying.
They have to put latches on it and the lock, that's what I'm getting.
And then also, they're gonna provide an installed service pump strainer for 1 horsepower. And then the rest is the, spot heater that is 245.
So what is this pump with strainer? Is this a pump that's there now and it's not working, or?
We don't have the information, it seems. It's not here, I don't know.
Didn't we approve last meeting something about?
No, we got the pump, the big pump, the motor. I called the vendor, and he's still looking at the pump because the company now doesn't
the
have it.
motor back.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is another pump.
Yeah.
Okay. So this doesn't take too much time. I don't think we have enough information.
So,
Now, is the pool lip cover, is that like a safety issue? Is it something we need to have on there, or is it just aesthetics,
It
or?
protects your ADA chair and the ADA chair in your fire.
Okay, but there's a cover on there now, it's standard, right?
It's all part, it's Sunday made, like, grill. Yeah, so, I mean, you don't need the cover, it protects the chair.
okay. But right now, it has the cover, it's just only damaged by the top.
Yeah, you can have it with no cover, right? It protects it from the rain, protects the motor specifically.
Correct.
That's not working, it's a couple $1,000, I think I've repaired plenty of those. And if you don't have it repaired in a timely fashion, then you open yourself up to ADA lawsuits.
Mm-hmm.
So that the cover is essentially your proactive, preemptive approach to that.
Okay. So we can do a motion on them pre-approving this invoice based on when we get the information from the.
Well, I think maybe we should authorize somebody on the board to deal with this vendor and to gas vendor and kind of tie all these ends so that we can get the appropriate numbers that we need to make a decision on it. It's my suggestion.
Yeah, for anything, there's no existing contract with gas company. It's been out of service for years and years. He has called gas company for service before, and I thought there was files from 5 years ago. They used to do it. So he said he will, try to find a vendor tomorrow. But he said it hasn't been here for 10 years.
You are paying field management,
Yeah.
services, so you work in conjunction with them, is that ideal?
He has to do it and give us a report.
Okay, I mean, I'll take the lead on that. I'll work with Freddie and try to see what we can get done with that. If that's okay.
I'll already reach out.
Do I need a motion for that, or is that just something that's stated?
If you want something approved, then yes. Like if you're actually gonna sign something with the dollar amount, then yes.
I don't think any of this is urgent.
No. As long as there's no dollar amount or anything or repairs, that's.
I just wanna work with Freddie so we can get solid numbers of what, and a solid plan of what needs to be done, so we can approve that at the next meeting.
Okay. We don't need that.
Okay, all right, let's move on.
So let's move to the next one. So then the technique pool, then we put it as a table, right?
Yeah.
Table. We have.
Assuming you don't wanna approve the.
Correct. So we got Skylight Roofing. They verified the roof. This is the information they sent. They sent, I think, a proposal to repair and to replace the roof.
That's the clubhouse roof we're talking about.
Correct.
Yeah, I love you.
Do they have a written report in here? Oh, the pictures, but I don't really know what they say.
251. Page 251, starts on.
Okay, close.
So Gabriel, who found the proposal?
The roofing?
Yeah. Ready?
Wasn't this, quoted prior, they just updated the bid? Wasn't Skylight out here before looking at this?
A year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just an updated bid for now, right, because the pricing has changed?
I have not compared them one to one, but I believe it would be.
Okay. So, do we know how old this roof is?
It's the original, so 21 years, no, or, yeah, whatever.
22 years?
Something like that.
2003 was the original.
No, this wasn't built yet. I think it was 2006 was actually,
2006, 2005, 2006.
20, give or take.
Okay. I guess I'm trying to figure out, like, what needs to be repaired.
It doesn't really say.
Because the repair quote says they need to remove 180 tiles and reinforce the ridge caps and remove them.
Yeah, and part of that is also, that, replace any rotten wood, because once they take those off and actually get under that, then there might be a whole bunch of rotten stuff.
Right, I understand that.
Now, I mean, they're not a roofer, when I was out here, the insurance company with the engineers, they had a couple concerns, it was broken tiles that were not secure, so you would just go up and pick up those cans. There was also issues with the, essentially what would be, the grade, the runoff, where certain parts, it was, the tiles were not steep enough, so the water was flowing back, and, I can't speak to it, I'm not sure.
So, wasn't there hurricane damage on the roof too?
That fell out, that was from the rain, there was leaks inside,
Uh-huh.
but a lot of it was existing.
Okay. And we don't have insurance for the roof, I guess.
Oh, I'm still waiting on the verdict from the insurance company.
They never responded?
Well, no, I've reached out to them a couple times, I'm still following them, FEMA's waiting on the insurance turnout for that, but the engineers specifically said that it's so bad they can't even attribute it to the storm. They said it's likely from before that. And being that we did have an inspection a year and a half ago, within the last 2 years, it had a lot of damage, I think it is just a lot of wear and tear for 20 years.
Have we received any more bids for this at all from anybody else?
Not mine, I think we got it here.
I didn't see anything, that's exercise stuff. I mean, guys, I think it's a substantial difference between repair and replacement. It's like 9 times the difference. I would like it repaired, because obviously I don't want the clubhouse to keep deteriorating and, and rain coming. It's just around the corner, and it's gonna rain every day. So I'd like to see it repaired. My concern is, if we invest money in repairing, and then they claim like other areas start leaking after the repair, and then we have to make another repair, that's also a concern, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, you'd be, paying Band-Aid money for it.
But they check everything, right? They check the whole roof?
They did a full inspection of the roof.
Okay.
Now, I don't know, I don't have a schematic of what all the areas that they're going to replace. And again, that would be something that would probably be best to loop in someone just to, as oversight.
We don't have any other bids, huh?
No, I would suggest, I don't know.
It looks like looking at pictures, but.
What, ready to get any more bids on repair and replacement?
I know.
Yeah, and it's not because of price, it's not because of price, 'cause I'm expecting the pricing is probably gonna be very
No,
similar.
comparison is fair.
But my concern is I'd like to get another professional's eyes on it to make sure that this is the repair we need. And that, rather than patching this with one company, because that's what they said, and then, like I said, having another patch 6 months later and another patch. If they come and do a full assessment and they go, you're gonna have patch after patch after patch, then I think the right thing to do is to budget for it next fiscal year to just have it replaced. Even though, and target for now to prevent further leakage or something, or, something along those lines. I just don't wanna throw money if it's not gonna be beneficial. So, is that all right with you guys?
Yeah, I'm looking to get more.
Are you looking for just not to exceed? Do you want to do that, or you want to?
Well, we can do that too.
Well, it's up to you guys. I mean, to me, I'm just not sure if I wanna repair it. I don't know if it's more beneficial.
Well, that too,
That's
yeah.
why I don't feel comfortable setting an amount, because I don't know what needs to be done. Because the new company may come in and say, well, you have 2 areas now that are leaking, it's $15,000. And if we approve $12,000, then, you know what I'm saying? It's still gonna be back at the same thing. So I think we just need to get the assessments ASAP and figure out what they are, and then decide if you wanna make a special meeting or something to address it. I don't know, but I
I
don't
think
feel.
we can table it for the next meeting, get more proposals. That's the best way to do.
I just say that I agree with that, and if there was something else, and anytime we get a proposal, I think, for both, I think we need to have a standard of each three.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
So that way we won't be like this, one is sitting there looking at it, and now we have to let the time go by. And now we have to so we hear, especially try to get somebody, and we can say, okay, we compare these two here, and we'll move forward. So I think that's something we should implement, period.
Totally agree.
I asked Freddie about it, and he mentioned that, like what Gabriel said, that sometimes they don't want to do it. It's like, so I think also if we can reach out, to companies, make them, as well, sometimes it works.
What's the name of it? CRC?
Yeah, CRC.
Can you tell Freddie to check with CRC Roofing? That's a pretty good company that's working on the towns right now. And, they're statewide. I think they would give a pretty, accurate assessment.
So we got that paid.
But get a third one as well.
So let's move up to the exercise system. We have the running belt, the e-stop clip. They gotta do bench. What is it? Okay, they gotta repair the hubs, shipping, trip, and labor.
So that backside is broken. Okay, so the first one seems like it's a safety issue, right, on the treadmill?
Correct.
The belt and the e-stop, it sounds like 60 damage.
Yeah.
And the other machine, it can't be repaired in any way? Because it seems like almost brand new machine, they just have one part that they can't get.
We're seeing a lot lately. I don't know how old that one is in particular, but we are seeing a lot of vendors now saying that parts are not available. They say, we can band-aid it, but we recommend replace it.
Besides this company, is there any other exercise companies that you guys work with?
This is the one that I think is easiest to work with, that we have the best relationships. And I know there are companies, out of Tampa, I don't know if in Orlando, but I'm sure, I know they exist.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with proceeding to approve the safety issue
Yeah.
and the I don't know how to say upholstery.
Yeah, but it's everything there, yeah.
Because those things are things that affect the users as well, but I don't know, that machine that no parts are available, I'd like to get a second opinion from another vendor to see if we have an option to repair it.
So let's do a motion to approve this.
I'll do a motion, to approve the exercise equipment repairs on the quote 051531 for a total of $649.
I second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Well, we're on
Motion
the
carries.
exercise room. Can I take a side step?
Yeah.
And just ask, I'll admit, I'm not a user of the facility. However, we are spending a lot of money over here. Especially when we start looking at that Puzzle 5 gym that no longer has parts.
Mm-hmm.
If we start looking ahead, can we poll the community or start talking to our community and see what they want to use in that gym? See what they kind of maybe wish they had and see what they don't use? So that we're not putting or repairing equipment or replacing equipment that is never going to get used. There are owners who be out there, say, with a treadmill or whatever it may be. Because I feel like that may guide us in our decisions as we start getting to end of life.
This would be the time you guys, as an individual, you can talk to everyone, but you guys
Correct.
No, so my thought is, and legal will have to be in this, what about putting a poster? What do you do, service it?
We're asking you before utilizing the HOA
The HOA.
newsletter, and
Okay.
say, you know, PGD is. And then you can put them on the agenda.
Yeah, that's what I was, I didn't do it. I just did the,
Yeah.
how the residents do it, so, should we get management to work with the HOA? We need a motion.
Yeah, you're gonna come up with.
And also,
I'll take that on.
and also should we need to direct the management information also to the HOA, so, because obviously the CDD, you know, the residents, the only information they can get is from if they come to a meeting, or if they go to the website, or call the management. But if we are being proactive, and then the CDD then relay the information to the HOA can, if they agree to e-blast the community about, hey, this is what transpired, this is what's going on, like what happened with the patrol last week. So at least the community know what's going on. I think it's,
Some of the e-class are, some of those have a whole option, like I used to
yeah,
right? The HOA actually sends a poll out, people can click it and just relay it.
yeah.
That way it will be contained in the service.
Okay. So do we have to do a motion if we want to utilize this money to contact the HOA?
You need to allow any board supervisor at any time to notify the district
Yeah.
manager, and then district manager will then take authority from each board member to notify.
So then we won't, we'll just reach out to them,
Or
they'll reach out to everybody.
I think let's deal with that, that's fine, he's too big,
Gotcha, okay, okay.
But if it's a relative tax, it's something the board is okay with, reporting, with negative survey questions or for the HOA.
And then send it to him, and then. Okay, so we got,
I saw that there's another roofing bid.
Yeah, they should have been with the other one.
But this is just a replacement one, looks like.
replacement.
It's just a repair, quote, because I didn't too much information.
So let's just get the CRC to look at it, and I think that's it, we don't need a third one. Is that fair? Okay.
Okay, then we have, the next one is the, yeah.
I made a motion to approve
I
the
second
repairs,
it, and then,
649, and all in favor, and I think there are any objections.
yeah. We move into A and B Pro Solution, to install the, AC unit, to replace the old one, that 20 years old. I think this was discussed on the previous meeting.
Yeah, so is the AC unit working or not working? Because I'm confused. Last time I was in here, it was hot as hell in here. Now it's cool. And Freddie said he got a company to come out and fix it, and that it was the capacitor, and that they filled it up with Freon.
Yeah, it was a
Then why it was hot when last time I was here? Okay, so it's a temp fix, so they acknowledge it needs to be replaced then. Because that's what I wasn't sure of.
Because I saw a bill for $170 after the other company came and did the, diagnostic.
Yeah, this is the first company said the unit's gone, and then Freddie said he repaired it. So.
he said it is currently working, if it needs to be replaced. So this one, purchase, obtained from AC Pro,
Yeah, well, they send a report. You send a report to everybody, right? So in that report, it was showing that the unit was already out of Freon, and the Freon that it's using is the Freon that is no longer, you're not supposed to be using that. And, what is it, the R38 or something like that? R22, yeah, that. So,
I mean, it's currently working with you guys, you want a new unit?
Do we have budget for this?
No. Good question. You typically would have budgeted, 20-year item.
So there's no repair and maintenance
There's difference between,
budget for the clubhouse?
well, repair and maintenance is different than replacement, right? So you would have budgeted for a new unit, there's a R&M clubhouse line, but I'll tell you how much it's in. But sorry, I thought you asked if there's a specific line just for receipts.
and also I know that unit takes a lot of energy, right? We're paying a lot of bills.
As of right now, you have just under $7,000 in your R&M clubhouse line.
So should we wait until the next, the next
The new
budget?
fiscal year is around the corner. Now, I'd like you to verify that it's really working, because I don't want to come in here and it's hot.
No, and then
You are going into summer. He said there are 2 units, one new and one old, so this would be to replace the old one.
Correct.
That's currently working.
I know last time that I met with Freddie, so before he contacted that person, he told me that that unit was gone.
This doesn't say how long this bid is good for, right? I mean, I would like to approve that, but I would rather wait till either the unit breaks this year, or the next fiscal year we'll make a budget for it. Because if we don't have some money.
If it's not leaking, then it can hold, but if it's leaking, then we have a problem, because then it's not gonna last. And that's what I want to know, because the Freon doesn't go like that.
Is that something we can do? I mean, it's 5 months left in the fiscal year. Can we approve this bid contingent that it stops working?
I don't understand, so.
Like, approve the bid to replace the AC unit if. Yeah, like a preemptive approval in case it stops working. We don't have to wait for another meeting to replace it. It'll already be approved to replace it if it stops working. But if it works, the next fiscal year, to make a budget to replace it.
I have no objection to that motion.
So how would I word that?
An authorization for, field staff to replace.
Okay, in the event the current system stops working.
Up to that amount, is that what we're saying?
I would add some to that.
8,000? You guys
Just
agree with
in
that?
case prices go up,
Okay, so
say how good it's worth.
$8,000.
All right. So I'll make a motion to replace the old AC unit if it stops working, not to exceed $8,000. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Sending money to their. Then you might have March that's hot, the other one would definitely work over pool, so, but you may have one that
In the meantime, can we get the temperature brought up a couple of degrees, so you can put a little less workload? I don't know about.
What is it set at anyway? Who sets it? Right on the screen, I don't think we need to have it this long.
I mean, I think there's the.
Yeah, it's there, yeah.
It's programmable, right? What's
It was
programmable?
a 67.
So we could do.
Yeah, I think they put it like that, so
Do we want to make a motion?
Anyway, so we have.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, I mean, if it's programmable, then we probably during the day don't need to have it that low. Nothing happens here during the day, especially this program. You understand? It's only really on the weekends that people use this facility, other than meetings. So, I mean, I'm thinking 78 is a good pocket where it's not too cold, not too hot, but whatever the rest of
So moving forward, so we're going to, district manager. Yeah. Well, yeah, the proposals.
We have proposals. So, what I got to say, do you just want to do the district managers, you want to do something else that you're talking about?
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to get that word here.
Go back to we're done with that.
Yeah. So let's go to the, early termination agreement.
So,
Yes.
You know, I think it may be beneficial for the board to just, to consideration of proposal for the management services, because early termination agreement, involves the potential start date of June 1st. And so, I think it would be beneficial for the board to decide which management company they're selecting.
yeah.
We haven't gotten confirmation from one that they can start at June 1st. It's a little preemptive to jump to that, I think, if the board's okay with that.
Gotcha, yeah.
Okay. Since we're moving the order of the agenda items, we need to open it up for public comment in case there's any objection or comment to the agenda items to discuss consideration of proposals for district management services at this time.
No proposal would be, but I would love to see them go to the top half of the preliminary fiscal year 2024 budget. After this.
Yeah, we're taking it out of order because some of those things play into that, so we're trying to appropriately, go through it, so that way we don't end up kind of going in circles here.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it's a little confusing, but it is for, reason.
I'm gonna give a quick synopsis of where we're at with that. So basically, our previous council put in a request for proposals for management, and we gave 5 proposals. Out of the 5 proposals, we selected 3 to interview at a workshop last week. Out of those 3, one of them dropped out before the workshop, so there's really only 2 companies left. One of them is GMS, which is Governmental Management Services, and the other one is PFN. I don't know what PFN stands for.
PFN Group Consulting LLC, they both presented, that survey at the workshop. Friday.
We have such workshop, there's a couple of people where this year. Yeah, we said, we had GMS and PFN.
Yeah, and I also let Artemis know that I would advise the board that they had also submitted a proposal, but it was past the deadline, Mr. Clark had set for that proposal. I just want to make sure that gets on record, because they did promise us that bring it to your all's attention and stuff.
Gabriel,
Yes.
have you heard in your experience that Artemis has any, CDD company?
I am not sure, I'm familiar with Artemis.
Okay. So how do you know about the proposal?
We just received an email, on Thursday, saying that he was advised about the bid and tried to submit a proposal. Kristen, I think it was Kristen said, you're past the deadline,
That's
and all of us.
That's right, we had already gotten, there was 5 proposals that had submitted, before the deadline, and they all had experience with CDD, management.
Unless anybody has any objection, I mean, I don't think we should consider the Artemis bid this late.
No, that's why they weren't here in front of you.
Yeah.
Correct.
They did miss the deadline, so we want to put the other.
That's fine. All right, so,
And the proposals are included in the agenda, right? The PFM and GMS is included. Okay.
Yeah, so at this point, I mean, we had a discussion on Friday, about some of the companies after they've left. You're welcome to continue that discussion, bring over to speak to those that weren't there. And then ultimately, if you have a preference of, at this time, want to pick one over the other, we would do that via motion.
Yeah, I was on the phone, so I got to listen to most of it, but there was a couple of glitches with the signal. But my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, just to recollect myself, my understanding is that PFM is more of an accounting company that uses a third-party management company to provide the management services. Is that right? I thought I heard that.
The field manager, they use a field manager.
The field management company separate.
Yes.
So
But I went to their website, and I thought I read that they're really an accounting company that has gotten into the CDD arena, so they're really not a CDD management company until now, until fairly recent. So I don't know, my opinion is that, I've did extensive research on all the companies in the area that do CDDs, and GMS to me seems to be the strongest candidate, as they have a ton of CDDs across the state. I think they know the state laws pretty well. I think they'll be able to insulate us the best out of our choices, and I think that's where I think we should go. But
Mario, you might not be able to hear it, they utilize Triad management, property management as the.
PFM, yeah, okay. Try it.
Triad association management.
And that's in Leesburg, they do, HOA.
Any other discussion, guys, before we make a motion?
So you guys know, I requested some information because I know the CDD needs, more meetings, just because all these, issues we have in the community, we need to tackle some issues. So I request GMS and the other company, I've received GMS, pricing that if we get, 9 meetings a year, it's 49 versus, I think it was 40, checking there, please.
45.
45. So
4,000 more.
So we get 9 meetings, and then we get 4 hours per meeting. Now, we have the 4 hours, then hourly. So we hope to keep it, less than 2. We get 12 meetings a year, then it's 53,000. Just the management stuff, The bottom one is still the same.
Well, in my opinion, I don't think we need 12 meetings. I don't want to be here November, to be honest with you. So at the most, I think we should have 10 meetings, but if 9 is the closest option, I think 9 is good. I think we should probably consider going dark for 1 month out of the summer, and then going dark for November and December, and that would allow us to get a lot more work done since we're meeting mostly the rest of the months. So that's my suggestion. I think the $4,000 is worth the investment, because when we do all these long meetings with all this that we have to do every 2 months, it's going to add to the hours anyway. We're going to wind up paying the money somehow.
So we have a motion.
Any other discussion?
Herman, was that discount or more rate if you were to have additional meetings?
That's $250 an hour, right? It was.
Right. If we had additional meetings, it was $2,000,
Correct.
and that was time on top of that.
Correct.
Right, so it'd be
We're looking at
$6,000.
deal by.
Yeah, like additional meetings, $2,000, and then $250.
But they were limiting us to 3 hours on that contract, and that was 4 hours.
So we're making out by having the additional time.
Correct.
But if you have additional meetings, does that mean you guys get paid more?
Well, there's a limit on how much we get paid per year, but if it makes everybody feel better, I'll waive mine for the extra 3 meetings.
I'm just curious if you get
It's 48 or 6? Yeah, no, 6,000 is our budget, 48 per year.
200 per meeting, per month, 40 a year. So that's the legal amount. Now, you don't have to hit that, and they're entitled to that compensation for everything.
I knew you would.
Well, this is not volunteer.
Low pay.
Yeah.
We should be paying you anything.
HOA is volunteer, this one is not.
All right, anything else, guys?
So what is the final proposal? 9 meetings a year?
That's what we're suggesting,
How much?
49,000 management fees. All the other parameters stay the same.
So we went up $4,000.
Correct. Now we get 4 hours per meeting instead of 3, and you get the extra meetings.
And that's 49,000 for which company?
GMS we're talking about.
For the management side, instead of 45, 49. Is that correct, Jason?
That's correct.
Perfect.
Yeah, they looked at it as we could give you a little more, give you a little more value, not meaning it's guaranteed.
Okay. Any newbie discount that you provide us?
That's not we can certainly have to
So motion,
So I know I asked you the last meeting about how long you guys are in front of the city. You mentioned that it's feasible, or 60 days will be the perfect scenario. Is that still standing?
based on what I can tell, I mean, typically our turnover is 60 days. I think based on myself and the people, I think, within 30 days or so, we'll have at least eyes on. Those like there's 3 hours work to do, so we're going to have to kind of commit and pick our battles and make priorities for right now. I have a little 60 days left to handle on kind of the whole light and everything. We'll be running full speed.
Okay. So second Tuesday of every other month work for you, for your calendar, for your schedule, or that's all right.
go to second.
Well, second Tuesday.
Yeah,
Why not second Thursday?
yeah.
All right. Yeah.
We'll save that for another meeting.
Yeah. Do we have any, motion? Can you put it?
Chris, would this be, ordering between the two, or you?
Yeah, I would say, let's have them select, move, if they would like, move on selecting one of the two management companies. As the board goes in from market, the objective is that they're not renewing, they're not going to terminate the contract. So I think maybe we tackle that first and network units or meetings that are authorized with whichever management company we're going with first. And
So just make a motion to select the new management company contingent upon terminating Infomark's contract.
Yeah.
That they've already put you on notice that they're, not going to be renewing at the end of September.
Gotcha.
So we're gonna go to the second element next, which is when the new management company would be getting services. The board's gonna have to vote on that as well.
Okay.
So I think that's, are we putting a timeline, a contingent timeline on this? No, right, just selecting.
Just selecting the
So there's no need to put a.
Company you'd like to go with right now.
Alright, so I make a motion that based on our choices, that we select GMS as our district management company.
I second with the meeting. Which one?
We don't need to work that out, she says, till later, right?
No, because that's a change of price.
Yeah, it's up to you all, but you
All
can
right.
do it and.
So let me restate the motion. I make a motion that we select GMS as our district management company and go with the proposal for 9 meetings a year.
I will second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, great. Okay.
So we're moving now to legal counsel, right? The early termination
Yeah, that's
agreement.
fine. So, one element that the board needs to think about is for GMS. So GMS has confirmed, with me that they are able to begin service first. Okay, so just keep that in mind, that's relevant for, the first issue that we can go over right now. Okay, so the board will recall at the last board meeting that I was directed to pursue early termination of the agreement with Infomark for district management purposes. The term of that initial agreement extends through the end of September, okay? There is a liquidated damage clause in the agreement that we entered into with Infomark. So under that clause, if the CDD chose to terminate the agreement today, without a negotiated deal with Infomark, they would be $40,170.85, which is the remainder amount due through September, okay? So now I have, been working with the board, and I reviewed the agreement that the CBD entered into. There was a provision in the agreement, that the CBD consent, there was a termination letter to Infomart, alleging default under the agreement. And so that's what the CBD has done, and we've entered into negotiation discussions with Infomart, to try to pursue early termination of the agreement, okay? And where it stands now, the negotiated offer, and you will see there has been a lot of back and forth with Infomart and Infomart counsel, and they have and very responsive to me in my request to try to negotiate early termination with them. Okay, and so you'll see that I emailed you an early termination agreement and release, and that details terms that I shared with each of you before this meeting, which is that the CBD would pay Infomart the contracted rate for May and June, and this offer contemplates that GMS would begin services on June 1st. So Infomart would provide its services through June 1st is when GMS would start, and Infomart would be available to help GMS transition from today through June 9th. Okay? And you would, of course, begin paying GMS on June 1st as well. Okay? So there will be some overlap in June, but again, there's some savings because this would be, you're paying the contracted rate of $16,000 for services through June 9th, whereas without that, you'd be paying $40,000 to terminate the agreement early. Okay, and so one of the terms for terms in the offer was that the CBD would retract their termination. So that included early termination agreement and release that included in today. This was drafted by counsel for Infomart, and I can tell you that on the way here, we're trying to figure it out. So you will see my comments, which they have accepted that I emailed people and also as part of the public record. You can see some of the provisions that I requested. Most substantially with that there was a release in here which would bar the CBD from bringing in claims that are known today or discovered in the future against Infomart.
How do you see the black line that she's talking about?
Actually, a black line. Okay. So, no, I ran the ink dry.
Okay.
Completely.
I also emailed them to each of you if you have.
Well, I believe it has the changes in it. It just doesn't actually show.
Doesn't highlight them.
Right, I'm looking at your email and I can't see the black line.
You can't see the black line.
It's one of the reasons, right? I trust that's one of the things when you're talking about.
That's correct. So that's basically, so in the release, I've added a condition that we're only releasing claims against Infomart that are related to the early termination of the agreement as opposed to the entire agreement in whole. So that was important for me to make sure that that was limited in scope. I was not going to be able to recommend approving this early termination agreement until we could try to limit that as enough that I could see, because there would never be an issue in the future with Infomart. It's just that I would never advise to release any and all claims ever, that the CDC may discover in the future. Again, that I think that will ever be an issue, but I was going to advise against entering into that type of release, but their attorney had authorized this change to relate to claims only related to early termination, which I do think is reasonable. Okay, some other important nuances here is that the CDD, its official Acme will not be able to make any disparaging comments after this agreement is entered into. So that means the CDC will not be making any statements, that push in from our negative money, or we won't be making negative statements on our, that law will apply to each of you individually, okay? So that will restrict any social media posts, anything negative on our, you'll be, restricted. And you'll see that I also requested some changes regarding the dates in here to mirror what I just described, which is that in 1A, of June 8th, 2023, Infomark has agreed to attend May 9th district meeting, and they will continue to provide the services as defined in the agreement until midnight of May 31st, 2023, and Infomark shall provide reasonable assistance to the district after the May 9th, 2023 district meeting to transition services provided in the agreement to the new management company until midnight of June 8th, 2023. Before that, there was some language in there that after today's meeting, the district would be providing some of their own services. So I revised that to reflect the terms that I emailed all of you. Okay. But there is some additional relief considerations in here, the non-disparagement clause in here. Those are in addition to the terms that I emailed you all. Okay. That's important to keep in mind. I think that this is fair and reasonable. It is the choice of the district to pursue termination of the agreement, early termination of the agreement.
Yeah. I have two questions.
Mm-hmm.
One is, it says that you owe Infomark a total of $16,000
By June 1st, 2023.
So that's in addition to management assessment?
Great question. That's $16,068. That represents your contracted rate for May and June. So you're not paying anything in addition, you're just paying
So at this
May
point,
and June, and they're going to be finished with services on June 9th.
so at this point today, they have not been paid for May? Or have you been paid for May?
Yeah, we started negotiating it in April.
Yeah, because that was my impression with the contract, the way I read it, but I'm a lay person. It just seems like, they're getting paid for May, and on June 1st, we're gonna give them another $16,000, and I'm like, that's a lot of money. But if what we're saying is that including what they get paid for May, that we're giving them $16,000 for both months, then that's fair, because I think that's we're gonna be losing about 3 months worth of management in this transaction.
That's right.
I mean, 3 weeks, I'm sorry.
So the $16,000 is your May service fee and June service fee.
Right. And then the other question I had is, this release that we're being asked to do of non-disparagement, is that like common in this field? Is that like what's usually done?
Yes, I've seen that before, and I've also seen the condition that they're retroactive, which has not been reflected here. Okay, so this will be moving forward, no disparaging comments on the remarks being made by the CDC or any board member.
Okay.
We built it, so the last bill was very short.
Last couple of April. Okay.
Then we will all do that. June, yeah, gotcha, all right.
Yeah, so
All right.
that's a good point that at the end of May, well, I guess it's only June 1st, okay.
So if we're gonna make a bulk payment, then we should just do it June 1st, and they get both months right there. If they want to get paid now, then they get May payment, and then we can do June and June. I mean, I just think it's fair, right? I mean,
But they get it at the end of the month, so they should get it both.
so, they always get paid at the end of the month?
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what she said, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is what their council
Okay,
is.
that's fine.
Yeah, this is their offer.
So, I'm good with it, if everybody else is good, I have no more questions.
Yeah, if you wanted additional time, because I know that I'm breaking these revisions, not you right now, but they are in your favor, these revisions are in your favor, and they should negotiate it with their counsel. I was getting them here and say, I couldn't recommend that you enter into as broad of a release as the release that was included in your agenda. Not much of an agreement on a never release related to claims pertaining to early termination of the agreement. Okay, so I'm comfortable recommending this now.
I just think time is not on our side, guys, so.
So do we have a motion?
I can make a motion, that we accept early termination agreement as presented by our council today.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Say no. Motion carries.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Numbers yet, but I believe that the first one would be.
We have, as a budget, set a public hearing.
Okay.
So I believe we start. One would be first, residential would be, and then the other two kind of just fall behind. And once we do election officers, we'll take all these for budget. Typically, we go to our next meeting,
And I have reviewed these, and I have no objection, they're very customary for, so I have no objection. If you're, you decided to go with GMS, so this would help the transition, I think a lot without having a special meeting.
So how would we,
Okay, so we're looking for a motion to approve resolution 2023. And actually,
Let's go first.
yeah.
So, the two-page,
is not the first one. We're looking at what the first one says, the resolution, directing your information services with, that's the bank account. Oh, wait, no, sorry, the 2 pages is first, actually, the 2 pages is first, correct. Sorry.
so the two-page is resolution
03. Yeah, 03.
the two one-pagers kind of doesn't matter.
So we'll say,
But let's be on the same page.
The bank,
okay, so the 2 pages is 2023-03.
bank, and
Bank 104. And then at the top it says local bank account waivers through it. It's the one without the underline of the sections on the left.
and then
And then the last one, 05.
Yeah.
I think.
So, being that it's our public, we open this up for public comment. Resolution provided by GMS. Anyone have anything to say? Jack?
Did you actually do a walkabout to look and see what else your company felt needs to be done to meet any of the guidelines?
Oh, I know. Very long site, so we have a big phase along obviously, once we get our needs, it'll be a different story. But we go up to whatever budget we're
Jason, based on your experience, you guys ever done any reserve study for the city property that you guys are taking?
we typically use, there's several firms that do reserve studies, they're a little more specialized in that. But we can also kind of use ourselves and our expertise to just look at it and make a quick thing on paper. There's several different models we can use. But typically, there's certain vendors that kind of do that a little more streamlined and efficiently, than we can internally. They've got expertise in those reserve studies. And if it's the board's desire, we can certainly bring proposals back and maybe use some options.
Do you have a ballpark number?
Probably looking at 35, they're outside of our now, I got the price on a little bit, they'll provide you a 20-year reserve study. They go through, look at all of your infrastructure, tell you what the lifespan is, where you're at in that process, and then they kind of lay all that out. And it's also something that certainly our staff that kind of
Anyone else? No. Okay, so do we have a motion?
I can lump them together, or?
Can we do three?
So, as with Jason said,
I don't know, do you want to do these separately?
we're fine all together. I mean, we don't need to.
so it would be a motion to accept resolution 2023-03, 2023-04, and 2023-05.
I second. No.
I'm thinking you're making it, you're making them. I make a motion to accept resolution 2023-03, 2023-04, and 2023-05.
I second the motion. All in favor, say aye. 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 All opposed, say no. Motion carried.
Okay, great. So that's how the superintendent, I was going to discuss with the board, that's been something that I've been working on in the board meeting. The other item that I would, that I have prepared for you is resolution 2023, let's see, which will now be changed to OSIP. This is a surveillance resolution that I can on the board. And it is usually customary in my practice that I will have my agenda items on the agenda. It's just that we were working on a lot of different issues for the CDDs and they're really hard, but that's why we're still going to have the public comment period for this resolution as well. And if there's ever the board's not comfortable approving something, you're certainly okay to table it so that it can be put on the agenda as well. Okay? So this resolution relates to video, audio, recording of the CCD. Specifically, chapter 119.07.138, and just for reference, want to look them up, and also section 281.301 Florida statute. Information.
Say that statute one more time, sorry.
Yeah, 313.3011, and I did have all of those numbers today. The same information related to security system. Ongoing visual presentations are confidential and exempt from the records law, and Florida, and so you'll remember that any documents, materials, videotaping, et cetera, is always subject to Public Records Act because the CDD is a governmental unit. But Florida legislature has made an exception for these security systems type of categories, okay? And so this resolution is going to acknowledge that, and if the district gets a public records request for video surveillance, that would be denied as confidential consent. This resolution also approves a policy, which is attached to the resolution as Exhibit A, which will go into effect until the board decides to amend it. But what it does is it states that access to the security camera and audio video surveillance is limited to only those authorized by the district manager. And, it's customary, I think, with CDDs, at least in my experience, that the district management company will be the only entity that has access to that video surveillance footage. The policy further states that that footage will only be authorized to be released pursuant to Florida law, which allows the video footage to be released in identifying district's normal operations, which means that the district would accessing that video footage to investigate a violation of its own rule or policy. This would permit that. It would also permit law enforcement agencies to access that material in investigation and pursuit of criminal activity, or to assist local, state, federal agencies in furtherance of their duties and responsibilities, or pursuant to a court order or other court required substances that requiring access to the video. Okay, so again, this resolution is going to be an official document that would state that the district management company has access to the video and audio surveillance such as CDD owns.
Jason, quick question. You guys receive a phone call from police or something to access video. How fast, or your experience with other CDDs, how fast you react to that officer calling you that they need?
So typically, we'll have a manager, they're a little more mobile, they're a little more close to the area, we'll have one of them come over and they can meet them here on site. We also may work with some systems where we can actually give them remote access, and we would give the officer the portal link and the code, and they can go in and do it themselves. We're very proactively working along.
Okay,
We'll make that happen as quick as we humanly can.
Okay, so if something happens now and they call you, you send someone. Okay.
We'll make it happen as quick as we can.
Okay.
But you guys don't have 24-hour support or something like that, right? Someone just,
Not 24 hours.
it has to be during business hours.
Not necessarily.
So with this resolution, do we have any backup plan with management? Let's say, for example, like Cordova was saying, that if they are not in 24 hours, something happens during that time.
The district manager under this resolution policy would have the authority to appoint like an authorized appointee or person to handle, the records as well, but they would be subject to this policy.
Okay.
I'll say in our experience, when they want those videos, they're normally not available right now anyway. So they'll call us and say, hey, I'm officer so-and-so, I might be available in the next 2 days. Can I come and look at video from this date, from this time? So we'll be able to. They're not looking for that video during emergency situations.
Yeah, I'm just saying because we got an incident here where a person got beat up at the pool and the cops were here. So they requested the video at the moment and they couldn't get it for some reason. So that's what I was asking. If it's something like that, to prevent the CDD to be liable, because later on that person was trying to sue the CDD because the CDD was not acting.
Okay. And one option the board has is to adopt this, and if there's an emergency situation at 9 o'clock or something, and when board members are by, you all have my cell phone number, you could, I can try to stay in touch with GMS. You can get other phone numbers for GMS. You could go that way, or the board also has the option to delegate authority to another person right now, have access to the surveillance how it goes, and if there's an issue that requires amendment or additional action, we can bring that forward.
I like the resolution, I think for the most part, it's responsible and suits. But, one, I think it's their hands only. I think that I would personally like to have this resolution reflect the fact that they are the primary people accessing it, but if they're not available or if there's an issue with the board decides that whenever they're not able to do what they're supposed to do or not doing it right, that the authority gets delegated to the chairman as the next person from the management. One of them are available, the vice chair. That would only occur if, you understand what I'm saying? So in other words, we're letting management go ahead and take care of everything from the event that doesn't work out. And the chairman,
So the district manager would have access to the surveillance footage.
So I'll give you an example, just to be clear, because I know it's confusing. Let's say, for example, our district manager is on vacation, let's say, and we can't get a hold of the person covering him for whatever reasons, right? And the police officer wants to come tomorrow to look at video, and we don't know if we're gonna get anybody, then the chairman, he makes, conscientious attempt to reach out to management and then he can act and go ahead and share that with the police officer. And the party will ever probably happen that neither one of them will know that the vice chairman will be able to step in. But that would only be under those circumstances. But the chain of command is always management gets everything first, and they have to do it, and they have to delegate to the other ones if they want that or if they're not available. Does that make sense?
What I would say is it's completely up to the board and the board's comfort level with who you delegate authority to access to the camera system. I would, I think that this is a good starting point. If the board, it's up to the board. So we probably want to open it up, for discussion and see if there's an objection or preferences to this vote for that idea also. Like I said, this is, as it stands, this would give you district manager, authority to
Yeah, I guess my concern is that, I don't know how long, with all due respect, Jason, I don't know you, I just met you today. We don't know what manager will have in the future, whatever, he doesn't know the history in this community, and I'll be honest with you, my personal opinion is that some individuals on this board should not have access to cameras under no circumstances, for the reasons that, of recent events that have occurred. And that being said, I think that it needs to be specific who will be the people that he can delegate to, and I think to make it fair, I suggest it be the chairman and vice chairman, but I'm open to discussions from anybody else if they have other suggestions.
And Jason, if you're comfortable, to give out of
I mean, I'm comfortable with that, right, certainly. I mean, we've got field managers that would be available, we're never gonna leave you without somebody covering properly. But I'm certainly comfortable with delegating the chair and the vice chair at that.
Okay. If the board is comfortable with an activity law to see when someone's in or something like that for full transparency.
Yeah.
I really highly recommend that. That's something that has never existed yet, but I think that if we have individual access and and the system can timestamp who accessed it, when, what time, that would be ideal, because, then we would see if anybody, even me, is overstepping our boundaries, you understand?
Or like you said,
Or written law. Or written law, yeah.
I don't know exactly the software yet, but we'll work with it.
Okay, I mean, we can always table this to try to, or if how the software works.
I think, I'm just reading this, and we have another resolution of 2022 2023-03.
Yeah, she's gonna change it.
Oh, which one?
She said,
This,
That's
this
the
one?
same
Okay.
Yeah, it's,
No, because,
yeah, so there's a, look at the same.
well, no, it's one that we did 23.
no, the one we
We're
have
gonna
is
change that.
already
Okay,
what it
okay.
is, but the new one, the one is
This
gonna
one?
be 6.
So
Yeah,
this
she
one?
said that.
Okay.
Yeah, this one was real, yeah.
I was trying to figure out where was this paper, I
Yeah,
couldn't find it.
understood.
Okay.
Sir, did you just have a comment?
In my opinion, I think the way it's designed and set up now, we should let it take its course that way. And if down the road we have issues to revisit and then we make the changes if we need to. But if they are meant to come, I think they should be allowed to do things as they do it now. But it's not forced to go on and revisit and say, you know what, you all doing okay, but we'd rather do it this way, rather than come out and shoot like you give them a chance to do it, prove who they are and what they can do. That's my opinion.
That's good. Thank you.
Well, the previous chairman was here for 9 years and he never had access to the camera. The previous vice chairman was here for 6 years and never had access to the camera. The current chairman, 10 days in office, he took over the machine. So what is the reason to have a person watching the video 24/7?
Like, can you shed any light on that, on how the system works? Is it a number?
I'd like to know why the supervisor is stating those statements that he's made. Is this factual? How does he know that this is factual? Yes, I didn't know this that he's saying right now. I'm asking openly. He's welcome to answer, or if you know, you can answer. Whoever answers, but I just don't know. He just made a pretty bad accusation. I don't know how he found
It is factual that the chairman came in and went to the vendor and requested access to the vendor. And that's something that I don't have access to. I don't know the system. Right?
Okay.
It's always been on Freddie, and I've never touched it. So I don't know, I can't speak to any specifics, I have no idea.
Yeah, and that was talked
So,
to.
is that true? Do you went to the vendor by yourself and just did this?
No, when I contact legal counsel, not you, legal counsel Clark, and
So my question is, did you ever go to management? Did you ever talk to Freddie? Did you ever talk to?
Yeah, no, Freddie, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
prior to going to the vendor,
Yeah.
right? And you didn't get a resolution, so you were asking, right?
Correct.
Okay, so he didn't go directly to the vendor. What you just said is completely wrong also. He went to you and to Freddie, and you guys were not cooperating, and that's why he went to the vendor. Hence, why I want this changed is because we don't have experience with the new manager, and though I know, based on what I've read and what I've done, my research, and why I voted for this company, I know that the integrity is there. And I am in no way trying to strip them from the authority to carry out this thing. I just want an additional measure of the vice chairman and the chairman that can say in the event that they cannot perform. You understand? So I'm not trying to strip them of what they're supposed to do based on this. I just want to add that specifically the management company can delegate to chairman or vice chairman as needed rather than just whoever they want. You understand? Which is what I think this says right now. It says, you know, hey, if someone's walking their dog and they think they're trustworthy, they can just say, hey, monitor these cameras while I'm gone. I know it's an exaggerated analogy, but what I'm saying is this is too open for me. I want it to be specific, and, you know, I don't care. We might not be chairman and vice chairman after the next term, so, you know what I'm saying? Whoever, I just think that it's more, you know, the vice chairman and chairman, I think, have more responsibility because it's usually not only an elected official by the community, but also the board has voted these people into office, which means they're relatively trustworthy for the community. So, you know, and you know, like I said, in recent days, there has been footage from those cameras, and Mr. Comas can maybe enlighten us and let us know how he got the footage. Did management provide him that footage that he's been posting on social media to make derogatory comments about multiple residents in this community? And that's exactly, I didn't want to go there, but now since we're on the topic, this is what I'm trying to avoid. He doesn't know that. He's new to our community. If Mr. Comas goes up to him and starts telling him, and he feels it's reasonable to give him access, he's gonna give him access because he doesn't know the history. That's my point. You understand? So I want it to be specific as to who he can delegate to,
It's a
rather than just
liability,
anybody.
it's a liability for the district.
Correct.
Those images right now online have a lot of liability for the district. Right now, anyone can sue, anyone that saw the post can sue. Yeah. So anyway,
Or you can decide to table, someone can make a motion if it could fail for one.
It'd be better for everybody if we just table this until the next meeting.
okay.
Do we have a second?
So, yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah, we have, I don't, it doesn't sound like it's like.
So we're talking, this,
Yeah.
Then we,
He takes up,
you want to take it? No,
is there any second? 1, 2, 3,
I would make a motion that we accept resolution 2023-06, amended to reflect that management can delegate only to chairman and vice chairman as they deem necessary.
I second the motion.
All
All in favor, say aye.
right.
Aye. All opposed, say no.
Motion, fails for lack of majority vote, okay?
So what happens now with regards to the management?
Jason can't get his people here, you become the next person, and now the board is completely out of it, and this takes place to whatever's being implied.
So it would be that I would be the
You're the next
district
in line.
manager's appointee, okay. I'm comfortable with that, I have worked a lot with GMS, and I know that there's a lot of people at GMS that would be on this if an emergency occurred. But if something happens in the community and one of the board members are contacted by law enforcement, et cetera, I'm happy to work with GMS and be the appointee to provide access. Or the unlimited purpose, and it's all the only.
And also, what we can do is the appointees that they're gonna select, then it cannot be none of us. But then we go back to the point that it's needed and nobody show up, like incident that happened before in this community. I hope it doesn't happen again, we got a shooting, we got that person there, so, but yeah, if they can be.
If it happens again, we talk, we change.
Yes.
Yeah. I make a motion that, resolution 2023-06 be amended, that if GMS is not able to respond, that the next in line would be legal counsel, to respond to any requests as outlined in the exhibit.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no.
Okay, so is it consensus that that passed?
Yeah.
Just for the record. Okay, my very last item for you all is the proposal from, this is actually an invoice from Envera. As I said at the beginning of the meeting, there were two currently effective agreements with Envera, one involving the gate, one involving the pool. I was directed to terminate both. I have not proceeded to terminate the Envera agreement for the pool because there's a liquidated damage provision that we do not have a suspension in. So if we terminate it today, we would owe the entire remainder of the contract amount due. That contract ends on September 14th, which would required the city to pay $1,968.23, so I have not authorized that expenditure, but I wanted to bring it back to the board to confirm that I have not proceeded with terminating the agreement, but I have let them know that we do not wish to renew it. Okay, because again, we did terminate, we spent approximately $2,000, but we received no services from there, so, okay, just advising you all, but certainly if you'd like to terminate that, but don't get the liquidated damage from me.
Yeah, if we pay for it, then we continue. I think we should just keep it. Do we need a motion or no?
No.
We continue.
Okay, great, and that's all I have for you all today, unless you have any questions for me. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay,
I don't know, something.
Sure.
I read somewhere, I don't remember if it was, Sunshine Law or something like that, where ex-supervisors are kind of held up to the standard of Sunshine Law for 2 years after the tenure. Is that correct?
So you're saying they're no longer government official, and they're still subject
They lost the election less than 2 years ago. They're still subject to Sunshine Laws.
I don't believe so, but I would certainly
If
follow
you can
up.
please look
Yeah,
into it.
I'll look into that. I don't believe they're subject to it when they're no longer on.
Because, something was posted on social media by a former supervisor just about a week or two ago,
Okay.
after Rivera removed their equipment, kind of stating some highly sensitive security issues, and made accusations against this board with regards to that. And based on what I read, I believe he violated Sunshine Law.
Okay, I'm happy to look into that and report back to the board.
and also, bring it to that point that some of the information that was disclosed, I didn't know about it. So how you know things that the board doesn't know? Like see camera access, they're gone, stuff like that, that we were like, it's kind of scary that somebody knows something that myself doesn't know.
Okay,
So,
understood. Well, I'll look into that.
And there's also an individual on the board who has a relationship with this individual who also poses the question whether or not they disclose that information to that individual. So I think it's kind of a chain reaction. I just want to let you know about that. Give me one.
okay. So I have an invoice from Benny Special Watching. They're cleaning an oil spill on around Siesta View and Casabella Drive. They absorb the oil first. They put some chemicals to absorb the oil, and then they're gonna clean that out, and then they're gonna dispose it how they're supposed to, and it's $400. I received a proposal from Inframark, but it got rescinded. But the proposal was to do a degreaser and pressure washer, and you're not supposed to do that. And engineering just told us that they're supposed to pick it up because it's not supposed to go inside the drain. That can cause a lot of violations, and it can damage our drains. But that's already
Okay, so we would be looking for ratification of the proposal that Chairman Perez just described. He was authorized. Active, the budget is under there. If he determines it necessary and appropriate, and if there's any questions, we can take them now. For any questions, proposal from
I'll make a motion to ratify the $200 bill on 60 Mark and Casabella for $400.
Can I second the motion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
So how much was the proposal?
It was just $400.
Yeah, their proposal was to watch. So we have this, quick, the service agreement for the lights.
Jackie, questions, and then go straight down the line and finish up.
So, yeah, that's fair. Friday, I mentioned that one is that now we have a determined management company. There's a couple of options as far as how involved you want him to be versus me kind of thing. So now this kind of messes with the timeline as far as the meeting schedule and the submissions for the budgets and everything. But the options would be either, what you can do is we can go through the budget and accept it, a couple of lines that I was going to bring to your attention as far as what should go up and what, et cetera. And you approve that, and then he ends up having to kind of deal with that and work with, there's the option of offering special meeting that he would approve before the June 15th budget line. And that would be, me providing him my suggestions and talking to him about it, seeing what he's comfortable providing you. And then CMS figuring out the deadlines for that as far as here and whatnot. Or there's the other option, which is to set a high-water mark budget, being that we can set a maximum limit of increase. And that we can bring that down to the next meeting. And that's how I was in my mind. You can just set that at 20%, right? And then at your next meeting, we do that to the county. At your next meeting, you can work with you, bring that back down to a manageable number. That's something that was here. So, and the reason why I preface it with this is seeing how much time you guys want to spend on this. If we're just meeting easier to run, then how much time you want to spend versus you actually going to do that. I'm happy to do everything that's on.
In my opinion, I would like a special meeting, just to have the management company that is going to be dealing with the money know how the budget is going to work.
Hey, is that your
Sure. I mean, I would say in general, if the board is not inclined to bring your assessment, then we will work with the budget that you have. I mean, that's kind of the purpose of the proposed budget, is to really set how much assessment you want to bring in, and the rest of it is just kind of moving on its own paper.
Yeah. It's like a 4% increase, just to take class, cover some of the increase in your expenses. Now, you can always offset that with your reserves. Cover your expenses. But it's quite difficult to plan the budget when we're approving, $8,000 for, A, B, and C, and we have another $300,000 we're talking about. That's approved. So that's kind of where it's really like, how much money do you guys want to do? So, sorry, but
I have one just comment is that their services won't start until June 1st. So, if you want to if you did go the special meeting route, then you may need, like a week or so just to get up to speed. So maybe the meeting 12.
Now, does it have to be a special meeting, or could it just be an additional meeting?
well, anything that's not regularly
Consider a special meeting? Okay.
Because then we continue this one, we don't need to put it on paper and all that.
Wednesday, 5 p.m.
Any time works for me after 11 a.m. Okay. And so we want to, kind of pull the board to see, like, No, I'm just saying, to have quorum and everything for the continued meeting, we're looking at June seventh after 11:07.
I'm okay with that, it's gonna be 5 or
Yeah.
5 or later?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there an objection at all to 5 or later on June 7th? No? Okay.
So 7 Okay, June 7th at 5 p.m. So that's gonna be the budget, continuation of the budget.
Okay, and then this location is available, June 7th, this location.
Yeah, there we just,
Okay.
the only thing we do is an HOA meeting on that day.
Okay.
Yeah, if not, then I'm almost willing to guarantee it, so.
Yeah, it's usually the last Thursday.
Okay. So then we move on, so we got,
So, we will not talk the whole item for this year's budget, we still want to set a public hearing. Are we comfortable setting that and getting that done on the shooting? If we want to talk about part of
So,
it.
yeah, so that would be, you mean adopting the proposed budget and design public hearing?
Oh, sorry.
Did you say that on the feet? Yeah, so, ready to vote on it.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm looking at the next meeting is July 11th, so you don't have enough time from that to July. That's why I'm saying, are we gonna set a public hearing at this time? We need a resolution at a continued.
Can you and Jason work out all the kinks of the budget?
Well, that's what I mean, that's all our company, so we, likely when we come back to you on that June meeting, we'll have to just do a resolution for the continued.
So what happens, let's say, that's the reason why I think we're not ready to approve it right now, is because the numbers just don't look right, I think, for us. I mean, the bottom line, the assessment is the same, I understand that, but all the allocations of the money is just all over the place, and this is why we're always over budget, so to speak. So, you know, what happens if we approve this, and then you change the numbers later, we have to have another hearing?
as long as the assessment doesn't.
Only if the assessments are changing. So if you guys, if the direction of the board is, we're not changing assessments this year, then our role is, you've got a capital now, we know what the revenue is, we just gotta get those allocations on the expense side.
So,
At the public hearing, which has to be 60 days after you adopt the resolution, adopting the proposed budget, so the hearing 60 days later, today, if you did that, you would set the cap. Okay, so you set the ceiling for how high you can go.
I get it.
So if you said, okay, today we're gonna adopt the proposed budget with 0 increase at the public hearing, you can't increase that. But today, if you said, we're gonna adopt the proposed budget with a 20-30% increase at the public hearing, we'll give you saying, Jason can work with you on bringing that number down. But as part of that conversation, you should know that we're required to send out every resident, a notice, which, you know, they're gonna get notice their assessments are increasing by 20-30%. So you will get a big turnout, I would anticipate, at the public hearing.
More people show up, they'll all show up.
Yeah, they'll definitely show up, but, you know, you'll get more,
So,
you'll get more participation, so just consideration.
well, I'm of the thought that I think we have way too much money already and we just not spending it correctly. And with the fact that the gate's gonna cost less to operate next year, I feel that we don't need to do any assessment increase, but that's my opinion. Put it up to the rest of you guys.
We'll make it into the final budget, you can still keep your July timeline.
You can move from item to item as long as we're able to.
All right. So, what do you guys think? I mean, that's what I suggest. We go ahead and approve it without an increase. Is that too?
I think we should still continue so that we can work on the budget, and technically, they allow us to continue tonight, which will affect the budget. So if we continue the meeting, they can still approve the resolution, we'll continue the meeting to discuss the budget, for the June. and then we can bring them back for high budget, kind of keep that just for the budget discussion, and really focus on the budget and have a little bit of time.
All right.
If that's a little bit left.
I'll make the motion then to approve the budget without any increase for next year.
I second the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. So we got that, then we got continuation.
Resolution for the public hearing. So we need to do the resolution for the public hearing today.
Yeah, where is it? I'm trying to look at this. All my pages are here.
Page 27. Actually, that's a little bit low, right? That's down to you guys.
But you had to look at it. It's a pretty standard form, right?
It is.
So it's a standard form, but Infomark, prepares it, you know, it says, Infomark, yeah, Infomark prepares it.
All right. So if you looked at it, you're okay with it? I'm okay with it.
And that's setting the public hearing for July 11th at 5 p.m. on your next meeting date.
Make a motion to adopt resolution 2023-02, setting the public budget hearing for July 11th, 5 p.m. at the clubhouse.
I second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. Okay, so we got that done.
The motion to continue that. Or
We need a-
do that.
Okay.
That's what I thought, we should be working.
So we have, from business service, this is from KUA, to add 19 lights on different streets. You can see it on page 32. But now it's reading. So this one, you can add light to without cost. Only they charge the $17 per light, yeah, per month.
Leasing fee, right?
Correct.
That includes power, includes maintenance, includes
Everything.
replacement.
Correct. And right now, that will be a total of $323 a month for 19 lights.
Now, we determined we need those lights for dark spots.
Yes. I went around the community every time I go around, and most of those areas are dark. I saw another ones, they need light, but they need conduit, and that costs more money. So for now, we need to spread the money as much as we can.
So how much more money is this going to cost monthly for us?
$323 a month for 19 lights. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So you skipped A.
Yeah, we're working up that.
Okay.
I'm getting this, we're working up.
Anyway, any more discussion?
Just waiting. I think they're reading.
Oh, okay.
So here, you got that proposal?
No,
No, what is
this is
it?
the first I'm thinking. We'll start, for the one with that.
So where that proposal came from? From the chairman? Do you have any knowledge about this information?
When this first came up, I was asked by a resident about the HOA newsletter. I asked about the new, not no parking on the roads for the lights to be upgraded to gateway. I spoke to the property manager, the work department, about all the lights replaced.
Not all of them, they're in process.
Yeah, approval to replace all the lights. And, that he had provided permits and this.
Who provided the permits? Who provided the
Business, why the HOA? contact you, and then you make arrangement through the board or something like that, and then the rest of the board is supposed to get informed on it. I know it's a benefit for the community, it's just like, that's why I keep asking all these proposals that.
Well, and I don't know if council would prefer a message or a steps here, but, any supervisor is allowed to bring things to the board. And the supervisor typically has the agenda, so it really, I was involved in it, so it doesn't necessarily mean that they were wrong.
Okay. Jason, how does your company handle that? Do you allow all members to bring proposals left and right, or you would like to, get involved with the vendor directly?
It's essentially how the board chooses to handle it. I mean, we work with the pleasure of the board. Certain boards have artificial procedures. We can certainly get those proposals. We don't have an issue doing that. And at most districts, we end up getting proposals ourselves. But we have other districts where board members get proposals. It's really up to the pleasure of the board. And you guys, as the board, choose to run the operation.
And that service is included in the management services too, with GMS, so, moving forward, it's something that I know GMS is really proactive about.
Oh, and I agree. I think we all have our own responsibilities, and I don't think that it is our pleasure to go around meeting with vendors and taking bids and everything. But the reality is that it's been challenging to get vendors previously, and in order to get things done, we got to get things done. And I think this is why a few of us have taken initiatives to reach out to vendors and try to get bids to bring them to the table. Otherwise, they wouldn't get done. That's why the community looks the way it does. Any other discussion? Motion on this lighting agreement, there's no resolution number? It says project E000, sorry. That Katie will install 19 lights at the designated areas on the exhibit that are listed there, and it will have a cost to the district of $323 per month for the leasing.
I second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Legal counsel, do you have to verify the agreement? She sent the agreement. Do you have to?
I'll have to take a look at it, but usually utility companies,
Can't do
they
it.
don't really negotiate terms. So we can, if there's anything that's just blatantly egregious or something that we can't agree on, I can take a look at it.
Okay. Whew. Yeah. Now we're going to towing service to reinstate the towing service in the community.
We were going back,
We follow
Oh, sorry.
up, down, left, or right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the,
discussion related to social services last time, we looked at what possible changes there were. Mario provided a totally no agreement, and I believe you have a copy with me today to look at that outline a couple different options. Now, for instance, there was a moratorium put on them with, under the previous agreement with the tax. If they wanted to stop the moratorium, then would they be able to cover the agreement had or would we need a public hearing to change?
Do they have parking?
Yeah, there's rules in place here. Actually goes pretty much where we were. The board wants to revise the rules. And Scott had started that. This was actually supposed to go up in November of last year, and just kind of fell a little wayside. So, that's something that I had recommended earlier, is that you, council, just puts all the rules in front of the board again. And a bit more, but just for a
section has changed with regards to parking and towing. The board legislature indicated that the KCD Colorado ordinance set out the parking and towing rules, or, yes, in their community. And so it hasn't changed, probably won't need to be changed, but it is specified in something.
Well, so, that's why I don't see the whole, we would need a policy advice for the here to do this.
So how about we approve, motion to approve setting a public hearing to adopt this agreement for towing services subject to my review of the rules, and to confirm that.
This is the towing resolution, I don't see any name of any towing company out there.
Yeah, if they put a name, that's kind of wrong, too, because you can change, like,
Yeah, from my brief review, and specified towing company is like a standard.
Then they could theoretically switch to this company under the existing rules.
correct.
Unless they rescinded this resolution and this rule is no longer effective, then they're okay deciding to go with this company.
No, moratorium is just put in place so that supervisors could consider alternative methods. There was some concerns about the authority to tow, the individuals authorized to tow, as well as the practices. So what it has resulted in a
So the 4-month moratorium is due to the fact that we're having meetings every 2 months. That's the first thing. Second thing is that we had not, as new supervisors, had the opportunity to look at the rules in detail, and there was a conflict whether or not they were following the 2018 rules versus the 2021 rules. And because if you look at that resolution, it says that they're following an older resolution, an older set of rules, I'm sorry. And apparently they're actually following the most current one that they did, I think in 2022, is it?
2021.
2021. Those were the most current rules that they did. So they're actually following the latest rules, even though the resolution has a different year on there. So that's with the conflict. So, we had the opportunity to look at both rules and.
So what if, since we're already doing the continuing meeting, we have council and your new management company bring that back and hash out revisions at the June meeting? Does that work? Not to volunteer Jason, but.
Can I finish what I was going to say?
We have four rules that, Jason and I have worked out for other CBD, take very much time.
So-
It may be fine.
Yeah, so the way that code is being carried out prior to the moratorium is not really according to those rules. Basically, they had the chairman and the vice chairman to basically call the tow truck at will on anybody that they felt needed to be towed. And that was the reason for the moratorium. Now, when we read this, there's nothing in there that says that chairman or vice chairman has total control of who gets towed. And I went ahead and talked with Orlando myself, and they say that as long as we fill out this form and give them the proper instructions and give them our rules, that they will automatically carry out our orders without our involvement unless there's a conflict and they will reach out to the designated person. So therefore, I like that because it takes away that kind of animosity that I'm going to be calling the tow truck on somebody because I don't like him or Herman or anybody else on this board. So, exactly, so that is the reason why today I think it's a good idea to be stated, because we do see people taking advantage of the fact that the moratorium is in place and they're parking cars pretty much everywhere in all kinds of directions, and I think we shouldn't delay it. So, my suggestion, did you have time to look at this at all, the agreement?
That's just a proposal, right?
It's just the agreement, so apparently they don't charge us anything, and they're not allowed to pay us anything, and we're not allowed to pay them according to the Florida statute.
They just charge for this.
Okay, yeah, I would say the board can approve that, but I'd like it to be subject to my review.
Correct. So-
Make sure we don't need anything.
The main issue that requires some decision-making here is the fact that they have two options. we can do for certain infractions, have them put a sticker as a warning, and they say they have an automated computer system that keeps track of that. Or for other infractions, we can say automatic tow. So, and it looks like they purposely have like put them kind of in order of severity. So, for example, illegally parked, it's kind of vague to me because it kind of encompasses everything. Everybody's illegally parked, right? But I'm guessing that this is basically like if someone parks a car in the middle of the street or something like that, right? It's covering like severe stuff. But all those are here separately, so no parking permit, we don't use parking permits. No tag, that can be an automatic tow. Fire lane or hydrant, handicap, resident parking, guest parking. We don't have guest parking here, so that would really apply. Inoperable, like wrecked, burnt, dismantled, or flat tire car, that could be an automatic tow. Commercial vehicles. Invalid tag, so it gives you all these. So we really kind of like, I don't know what the best way to go about it for all of us to agree on that.
So that, they can only tow for the reasons stated in the CDD policy and the parking and towing policy. So you're gonna adopt rules that say you can't park on one side of the street. Then that's what the towing company has permission to do, and that's pursuant to Florida statutes too. So CDDs don't have police powers. We can't authorize someone to tow for an old tag or something. That's preempted with the sheriff's department. That's an issue that they handle. Like golf cart use, et cetera. So there's certain things like if you're drunk driving, for example, we can't authorize a tow or give tickets or something like that. So I have to look at that, but the answer to that is that they can tow pursuant to our parking and towing rules. So whatever the CBD has passed, saying you can park on this side of the road, or that side of the road, that's where they can
But
park.
the CDD rule basically just cites, municipal and state, like county and state codes. And it doesn't really tell you what exactly they're towing automatically for. Like, my personal opinion is, for example, if I leave a car, let's say, parked in the clubhouse parking lot one day for a couple hours, it would be nice if I could just get a warning that I'm not supposed to do that. And then the next time I do it, car goes. You understand? As opposed to or a fire lane, car needs to go.
So that we need to do public hearing to change those.
The rules themselves, will require a public hearing, and so.
So as it stands right now, then our rules, what you're saying is everyone's an automatic tow.
I'm not familiar with your rule. I don't have a copy of your rule.
So we have to say that to the next,
The board can approve it, subject to my sign up.
Yep.
I would say that the CDC that I work with that have parking and towing rules, they all have a warning policy tied to that.
Okay, so we've done a warning policy.
Yeah, they all.
Everyone's an automatic tow.
Nobody has yet.
So,
All of it, we have to, I think it's even before statutes, you're supposed to put a 24-hour release notice.
wow, so that's what I thought too, but in the past, board had mentioned that as long as they have a sign that this is a towable area, that's enough warning, apparently.
They took many.
So I would make a motion to accept the agreement for towing services from Orlando, contingent on the fact that our legal counsel gets it approved. Into end of moratorium. Can we give an effective date since we don't know how the date is due?
Immediate, because we need to stop the moratorium so she can start working.
Is there gonna be something like on that, I understand what you're doing, because I ran into a situation with a friend of mine that's visiting from the province, so. Is there going to be someone on the board that, or an email that we can send if we have an issue to let them know that, my neighbor's moving and they're gonna have U-Haul in their driveway?
Management.
So it's gonna be in the driveway overnight, it's gonna block the walkway for one night.
Yeah. So that's something that I never really materialized.
Blocking the walkway, that's not something we typically tow for anyway, because we're still walking sidewalks as an ADA, which falls to code enforcement of the sheriff.
Wow. There's no but he's saying, for example, commercial vehicle, and you have a food truck here.
Like, we had our neighbors that had
Yeah.
But I would suggest anything just to management, and management will guide you, you know, the best way.
We'll look at the, so we'll also look at the land agreement, see how we communicate with them, so that if we get the information, we've got to get it to them, because if they're authorized just to sell, we might not even be able to get them.
Correct.
Well, this like you should review your whole policy and review that first and come up with something on paper, you know, this.
Yeah, and then we schedule the public hearing, because that will take long.
Changes or whatever.
Absolutely.
I think warnings is a great idea. I'm certain.
Jason, just a quick question, because I had asked what I was going to say, is that any of your communities with CDBs have like maybe an option, like something like what Jack just brought up, like if someone needs to leave a moving truck in the community for, let's say, 3 days or whatever, because they're moving, can we give them like a sticker permit or something that would allow them to stay there for a certain determined period?
So, we don't have any districts that I manage where we've got a tow company that's authorized to go out and do enforcement. We've got, most of those companies have a security company that does it.
That's what's on.
So what we've done is we've set up a web portal where people can go on, list their information, it generates an email to us and the security company that says, here's all the information, and then I can approve it or disapprove it. So we've done that, people are getting roofs put on their homes, so they need to dump their foot in their car, or in their driveway for 3 days, they need to dump their car on the road. I'll look at that. What's really true, you know, we're kind of like,
Yeah, and I believe, check with Orlando, that day they said that their system allows you to input stuff like that they can verify that car is okay.
one of the reasons we really like the warning policy is that if so say, we're not going to reimburse them because Orlando did their job. Now, if you're doing the warning, then I can contact Orlando and go, oh my God, we're sorry, you should have put a warning on that car, they can update it so they don't tell us next time. There's opportunity there to correct those things.
I agree.
Okay, I second that motion.
So check.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
You oppose?
I'm sorry. I thought, I said yes.
So you guys like that? You should know or abstain on this motion?
To put against,
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry.
To be clear,
yeah, me and Mike.
You vote yes, and no.
Moratorium or to towing?
Have council review and then approve.
Are we two separate motions?
Well, that was, so right now we're voting on this one, that is the motion. If this one fails, we can have something separate. But right now, it is 3 yeses, 1 opposed, where do you?
I oppose the whole motion.
Motion carries.
And I think that also just, policy procedure falls in line with that, right? So let's just want to have that discussion as well.
Yeah, that one I think has to be.
That motion was subject to my approval. I'm not going to approve it until I have an opportunity to read through what the rules are. Proper signage is up for parking and towing, otherwise CDB will be liable for doing that. So most likely what's going to happen is I'm going to review that and get together with Jason, and then at the continuing meeting, we'll be coming back and discussing moving what, what will forward, and if I have recommendations for the board regarding that.
And then, yeah, you're talking about the policy procedures that.
So does that mean that that's going to start going now until we make these
No,
changes?
until I
Oh,
review
okay,
and
that's what I want to
approve
make
it.
sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Just because if we
Until-
go and tow something right now,
Okay.
it needs to be lined up
Yeah, I agree.
properly done.
So I think the policy and procedure, I think we can just table that.
This is the second one, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking,
Yeah.
that, you all get with Jason and Chris
Yeah.
for the June 8th.
Correct. And then we have, this is something that I brought up and I sent it to management, the consideration to make the Otero one way. That street is real narrow, it's a safety hazard in there, having many vehicles parked on the street plus having both ways. And I saw many close calls in that street. I don't know, somebody, I think Corey used to live in that area and give a little.
Does that require engineering or any type of?
I have a couple of comments on this one. I have something back there, I was trying to play it out as I was preparing for the meeting, what direction the Otero would be, right? And either way I play it out, we're going to increase the traffic on certain roads, right? Chulo,
Right.
What's that,
Lorenzo, coming around north, coming around.
we have to take into effect the condition of those roads.
Correct.
Right? Based on the fact that we're going to add traffic. Either way, we're going to add traffic to those roads. But I think on top of that, if we're going to make Via Otero one way, we now have to have signage, which is an additional cost.
Correct.
To the district. So we have to take that into consideration. And we have to figure out how everything's going to flow. I think the engineer. And we are. Solution work. I did. Very afraid of what they have got the car. People come around that corner and exactly where it is. I would send sold that but there's something that always in the back of my mind. I think that we could solve this with just some more paint and going and making that corner and pulling it back so people can't park so close in and around that corner. And that will open some things up there, open some space up down towards the mailbox, that other corner of the Otero. It can restrict some of the parking, and that may help open some of that space up to start with.
Yeah,
I'd see if that works better before we go and add additional cost. I think paint is going to be a little bit less price than buying and posting and having some signs up and all that kind of stuff is a first step in the right direction.
Yeah, that makes sense, and then also that the engineer has to put the input on, like you said, parking or not parking, that has to be.
I think, that's the first step. Get the engineer to evaluate the situation and provide options, I guess.
So we tabled that one until engineering. And then we have the management report.
Want to give it an option? What is it in relation to?
I'm not familiar with it.
I just want to know what it's about. I mean, we're just the topic, but just what the topic is about.
The title, and this is at every district that comes up.
That's good.
So I'm making sure that we're
Okay, so I'll be emailing you all about that.
No problem.
Thank
you, appreciate it.
just
It goes into effect July
I wouldn't be surprised. That's fine. Effective date is July 1st.
So I'll get some instructions out and a memorandum about that. Just that one myself.
Yes, more training.
All right, so then for me, it is the minutes, which, the majority were printed out, the only one that there is an issue on the iPads. We tried to, add more detail to this. We're having actually flush out a lot of the minutes, more details, so we can better follow the conversation. any corrections on that, or changes, et cetera?
See anything?
Make a motion to approve?
I guess I was looking over the minutes. Line 5, the meeting was at 1 p.m. Line 24, the same issue.
That's what I noticed there.
Line 35, Mr. Simmons, I want you to include Jason Simmons in there, with the address 3029 Camino Real Drive South. Line 40, it was Mr. Samuel Nash, 2976 CSW Drive.
Can you repeat that name?
Sam Nash.
Yeah, it's still Mr. Natch.
He wants them, is that customary? You identify everyone that speaks at a meeting by address? That's
Usually the
cool.
public commenters will give their opinion.
Yeah, we do have an address, and they typically sign in with the same address.
I was gonna ask you.
Number 8,
Most of my, like Jack, I have, otherwise I pull from these guys.
number 80. Do you remember that, Mr. Moron? Who was that?
Yeah, he doesn't look good.
80.
Yes, all right, I'm gonna miss that one. That's just a good thing.
No? Yeah. Okay.
So what is it?
That is someone else.
I'm telling you, there's some things that he knows.
Yeah,
they're wrong.
you're right, yeah, line 81 there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, you got names mixed, that's someone else from a different district. I will have that straight.
I thought it was a joke. I thought he was trying to say Mr. Monroe. Okay.
Line 124, the incident that you mentioned, January 7 is January 19. For some reason, 134, I had that the for the record, I just want to clarify that was Mr. Rodolfo said that he wouldn't want to reset as a management company proposal.
But that was agreed on by the board. It was put forward, I think the board, they agreed with that.
Jason Simmons, 3029 Camino Real Drive South.
But if this is minutes, that he speak, he didn't say his address again. Yeah.
That was it for me.
Good eye.
Motion to accept March 14, 2023 minutes with the noted changes.
I second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
And the financial statements, page, start on E8 for you guys, I got one note, and then following after that. And, check register, we can just do it as one, if you guys are okay with it.
while they check that, do you have the time to check with Spectrum about the services? Because I know every month.
So I've talked to them in the past, and I specifically asked, can you tell me what services are not being used? And they said, nope. I said, we're trying to cancel the ones, I said, there's 2 phone lines, and they said, you have to tell us. So then I talked to Freddie, and I talked to one of the others in the office, and everyone said, no, it's just, that's all the services that we need. So, and then, at first it took me a couple months to get the account transferred, it was still under the dollar. So I had to get it transferred.
What?
Yeah, I had to get it, I had to get ownership of the account, and then we passed it to our account payable. So now she has the account, she has a whole lot of opportunity for that. Girl in the office is the one that reached out to them, to get a technician, et cetera. So as of right now, I don't know what services can be cut off from it, because according to Spectrum, they're all in use.
Yeah, we only need internet.
So-
That's it.
Maybe,
Your alarm on the phone.
Hmm?
Your alarm on the phone line.
This?
Yeah, that's how alarms, they're set up to the phone.
Wow, I used to have ADT that connected to the modem. And they have the cellular backup where that the internet goes down, the cellular backup goes on.
anyway, Jason, can you put on your task list for June? To look into the cable service and see what deal they can offer us. I mean, I've looked at the cable bill myself, and I mean, we have the Latino channels, we have some sports stuff, and I just think it's ridiculous. I mean, the only people watching TV here is the people that are coming to work out, which I have a problem with that. If you're working out, you shouldn't be watching TV, but I know people like to run and watch TV. But basic cable should be more than enough. And I think what we need is probably good internet so that our cameras and our security stuff is working as best as possible. And we have, I believe, like 3 phone lines that we don't utilize. There's a phone for the guardhouse, which is not being used. So internet and minimal TV is really what we need.
And maybe one TV only on the.
And I think, yeah, the TV in the fitness center.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
Have, one of the old small boxes.
Yeah, the DTA.
Right, so, yeah, I'd like to get it like up to speed, modernized, that's what we have, but also take some money, because we pay this section probably to the tune of almost $500 a month for all these services, so. It's gonna be sort of for 134. And let's do something.
So everything go with the financial statements?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
So do we have the motion?
Are we doing the finance and insurance? You want to separate or just try that?
I'm okay with it together, whoever wants to make the motion, go ahead, I'm tapped out for the night.
I was gonna say, it looks like we're kind of winding down.
I'm tapped out for the night. I'm past my.
Check register, financial.
Check register. For the payment of late runner for hog removal, do we ever had a motion or a discussion at the meeting to approve them?
That's the spring.
That was approved at the, January meeting, if I'm not wrong.
That's not actual hog removal, it's the repellent. Yeah, that was the spring.
So we don't have any hogs anymore?
No.
Well, they came back and we stopped applying it, but we
Yeah, we're
just,
just figuring out.
Yeah, it ran out. Yeah.
Okay, so we lost.
I know there's some hog damage out there.
Okay, so that's what.
Well, so, and
It's working.
remember, part of the issue with hogs is, it's a very trade problem, and it's hard to get rid of, right? So I think that the scram has helped significantly, and it's cheaper than the alternative that was $2,000 a month or whatever it was for traffic.
and you're never gonna get rid of them, they're everywhere in Florida.
Especially specifically because you guys back up the Barton Creek and all of that, you guys have it pretty bad, especially if you're pretty large amount. So, really, we're excited to get in here, because they may be busy, because they take the cost back with them, so they sell it too, so.
They eat them.
Yeah.
We don't have anything else.
Alright, then, quarter
now that you mentioned that, do we have to recertify that fence on the well pump? That they approved?
Ratify that?
Yeah.
Let me actually pull that up.
Let's plug that back on.
Did he say what was wrong? Well,
They replaced a, three-phase starter,
it was up and up. Was the leak thing?
that is not in the notes, I'm not sure.
And they changed the pressure switch, the pressure gauge as well. But I know that one of the pumps is out. The one that we just made, the new one, but I told them that they need to send it to the warranty. If it burn out, we don't gotta pay another one. They need to, no, but I think it's because the pump did something that is in the voltage back.
That is for $1,373.88. So we just ratify that due to that, your irrigation depends on it, to consider an emergency and approved by your chairman outside of the meeting. So, do I have a motion to accept ratification of the Nation Waste Well Drilling?
The well pump.
To the tune of $1,373.88. Mario made the motion.
All right. Correct.
I don't think it needs an okay, I think it just needs to notify you, right?
Well, why don't you
Yeah.
take it now?
Yeah.
There's a certain optic situation.
So we can okay do we need a motion or just?
Is that we go ahead and okay it, right? And then that means they'll just come and put it wherever they want, and you have no say in what they do, right? Meanwhile, the proper procedure should be that their vendor contacts management, and management tells them where to put it. I don't think we need a motion for that, because it needs to be done.
If it's in their driveway, then it wouldn't be the CCA regardless, it would be a.
But what if, but that's what I'm saying, though.
Well, that's the problem.
It just doesn't make
The
sense.
road is a legitimate issue.
Yeah.
Because of traffic. So it really should be the driveway first off. If you guys want to put it in the road.
Remember, they're gonna do a full demolition of that house, the whole house burned down, so I don't think they're gonna fit
Oh, no, I know, but.
the dumpster in the driveway. They're gonna have a huge dumpster, it's 30 yards.
They follow the slippery slope of Route 1. You know, what if someone is just recreating, they want it in the street too? You know, so you have to consider what you're opening here. So, yeah, you guys, you can take rules for whatever you want.
What's the process today? If someone wanted to put, let's say, a dumpster out front or have work done, they contact the district.
Usually I will draft the license agreement that the requester would have to identify the CDs for any damage to the CD's roadway, and ultimately the CD would pay for damage, so I would have them sign something.
So that's another one that we need her, so if we approve it, then.
Yeah.
So what do you suggest we do? Do we have to make a motion today? Or should we-
I think you can make a statement on the public record that you're certainly willing to consider, be evaluated on a case-by-case basis. Not sure we might need to run it past, like, the district engineer, to make sure we're not violating some county code with regard to putting a dumpster in right away. Unfortunately, it was just a little bit more complicated than approving it. I'd also recommend a license agreement for the vendor to put a dumpster there, because again, if it damages CDD property, we don't have any recourse really, against the CDD.
Yeah, you were gonna get one first.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, I have a form that if you several times, there's a lot of these that want, extra dumpsters or HOAs were requested during Christmas time, holidays, et cetera, for garbage, all that stuff. No problem, I can include that in the continuing meeting, you know,
Well,
absolutely.
if they're gonna demo before that, then we wanna designate the chair, vice chair
To approve it, subject to district council and district engineer sign off, that's fine.
That sounds fair to me.
Motion.
Okay.
I had a motion today.
The motion authorize the chair, vice chair to approve a dumpster, whatever's needed.
Right.
We'll have to have it.
Subject to district council and district engineer sign off. Subject to district council and district engineer sign off, and I will bring back the form, license for dumpster, CDD property, just, for the continuing meeting.
What they say. Yeah, I'll make the motion, which y'all I'll second it.
All in favor? Say aye. Aye. All opposed? None? Motion carries.
Just as an information, so when some event like that happens, like what happened a couple weeks ago here with that house, like, are we supposed to like notify the community management that has occurred, or is that?
Yeah, I think, go ahead, you can notify, you may want to,
Because that was like a big deal, it was on the news and everything, you know, so I don't know.
But that wasn't, you know,
So, yeah, it's one of the local neighbors, and basically, I guess he had a medical event, and he sped at like almost 60, 70 miles an hour on the sidewalk and went into one of the houses, but he was unconscious supposedly at the time. Luckily, no one died, there was no serious injuries, he has a lot of contusions everywhere, you know, it's something that occurred, and in that moment, I don't know, you know, I'm trying just to find out for procedure purposes, when emergencies like this occur, should we notify district manager so they're aware of it
I
occurring?
think that's a good idea, I would recommend that, yeah.
So we, continuing the meeting on June 7th at 5 p.m.
Motion?
At this location.
at this location.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Question, Gabriel, where are the, sweep holes? In the entrance?
I don't know. I'm not sure there.
They belong to Vero, they belong to